We have one.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a whole minute. Awesome.
He didn't warn me. I'm still taking my hair down from getting out of the shower. Everybody gets to see me tie my bandana on.
That's all right. We can small talk this and then have official show kickoff when we're ready.
Absolutely. Guys, my good news today is going to come at the beginning.
Oh,
Since
good.
we're doing small talk real quick, my baby is the size of a chipmunk, 16 weeks. Excited about it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go and find the chat window and find our friends.
Can we turn the music down a little bit?
Yeah, it'll go down in just a minute. We're just pre-streaming right now, bro.
Oh, yeah, my bad.
Yep. All right. I see the live stream is on. All right. Man, that's awesome. All right. We are ready. I am ready if you are ready. Is it a show?
It's a show.
It's a show. Welcome to the For We Are Many podcast. It's time for your show. If you are hearing the sound of my voice right now, you have not accomplished room temperature and you are still exchanging oxygen. That means your ears, mind, and heart are open to the messages we are about to bring you. We also do not have a pill for you, red, black, or blue, but we may have some enlightenment to bring. My name is
Or some
Dean,
green.
and I am the person who is speaking right now. My pronouns are he, him, and we, and I would like to introduce at this time our founder and lead host, Rob.
Well, he kind of took away the introduction, didn't he? No, I'm kidding. I'm Rob. We've been doing this for a couple of months now, just trying to keep it rolling. It's International Women's Day. I guess we'll start off by saying that, because we're going to go straight into women's rights today. Who's next?
Hey, what's up? I'm Carissa. Happy International Women's Day. May your titties bounce boobily. Enjoy. I hope somebody rubs your feet tonight.
I'm going to be honest, Trisha, I have no idea what you just said. It sounded like Skrillex was dropping the beat on your voice.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, much better now.
Okay.
I had something planned for this, and Trisha kind of threw it off. Hold on. Good evening, my beautiful mounts of stardust floating through the nothingness. I'm glad that my voice could find your ears tonight. Thank you. I promise I'll have good good things to tell you tonight. That's what I do. It's, Don, good news, Hughes. It's in the name right down here. Yeah. They gave that to me. I've never been called good news in my life, so still confusing, but glad I could be here.
We're glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here, Dean.
So I guess it's my turn.
Absolutely.
All right. Hello, everyone. I am Austin, the Radical Pat. I have a goal in life, and that is to help people. And that is why I will be running for Congress in Pennsylvania's 16th district.
Woohoo!
I think that's about it. So let's get this started.
Oh yeah. So I guess I'll do my usual plug for Patreon. I just had that up, obviously. That's live. Any size donation honestly helps. With your support, we can grow this project into a independent media source. If you want to get involved with that, we are also looking for volunteers as well. But the Patreon is www.patreon.com/forwearemany. And I guess we'll jump right into women's rights. Again, it is International Women's Day.
My name is Britta B, and the name of this poem is Dear Young Woman. Dear young woman, I hope you find you. I hope you find love. I see all the armor you wear. I see all the jewels and gems of wisdom you share. It's okay to shine, Ma. It's okay to shine. It's okay to have pride, Ma. You don't have to live a lie. Don't let the violence fool you into silence, convincing you that you are not worthy of space and time. You might not know it yet, but you got a multi-dimensional set of eyes looking out for you. Trust that what is meant for you is relying on you to show up. Show up. You can lose your religion, but you will never lose your spirit. Each of your breaths have minds and lives of their own. I doubt we'll ever know the true impact of our presence. What a blessing. Young woman, I wish you enough. I wish you enough time for all of your skills and talents. I wish you more. I wish you more revelations than disrespects and regrets. And I beg you to believe in yourself more than your parents ever did. Carry out your curiosities in spite of the corruptions you experience. You let yourself free when you let yourself forgive. And so when you do, and I know you will, I hope you find you. I hope you find love again. A word that comes to mind for this piece is empowerment. As a poet, I really want to serve as an encouraging voice through my work. And I want this poem to be a reminder that whatever you're going through as a woman, you have the choice to make for yourself on how gentle and kind you are with yourself. So I may be putting this out there as a message for people other than me, but it's also a reminder to myself to treat myself kindly and to be good to myself.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Hell yeah, indeed.
Beautiful and inspirational.
I don't even know why I unmuted myself. You guys were saying everything I was going to say.
Pulling the thoughts right from your mind.
So, yeah, we already have some comments. It's mostly us. No, I'm kidding. Dean obviously did say welcome to the current event stream, and Emily said hi, and then Don said hi back. So I'm only half kidding when I say it's mostly us.
Yo, Johnny's back.
Yeah, I was gonna say Johnny says good to be here. Glad to see you again, man. So Trisha, do you wanna do women's rights, or is that still the plan?
Just a second. Holding on my face. Oh my goodness. Vigo. Sorry. Oh boy. Somebody wants attention, and he wants attention right now.
Right.
Trying to bat my face here. All right. Well, International Women's Day. Sorry to inform, but progress on gender equality remains slow. Excuse me, Kitty. Do you mind?
That's the understatement of the century.
Right. No country has achieved gender equality. And I quote, the review of women's rights show that despite some progress, no country has achieved gender equality, said UN Women's Executive Director. I hope I don't destroy this name here. You go, chill. Fumzili Lambo Nkuka, maintaining that, quote, equality isn't just 1/4 of the seats at the tables of power, she said. However, that was the current reality of women's representation across the board. Only half is an equal share, and only equal is enough, stressed the UN Women's Chief. A gloomy picture we have here. Over the past 20 years, progress on women's access to paid work has ground to a halt as they continue to shoulder the bulk of unpaid care and domestic work. Less than 2/3 between the ages of 25 and 54 are in the labor force. Nearly 1 in 5 women have faced violence from an intimate partner in the past year, fueled by new technology, such as through cyber harassment, for which policy solutions are largely absent. Some 32 million girls are still not in school. Men still control 3/4 of parliamentary seats. Women are largely excluded from peace processes. The change is possible amid unprecedented opportunity. Despite unprecedented global challenges, the report also proves that positive change is possible by citing feminist movements globally. 1, illustrating the success of women's collective actions for accountability on crimes against us. And 2, showcasing successful initiatives in scaling up public services to meet women's rights, from increasing access to contraception and childcare to reducing domestic violence and increasing women's participation in politics and peace building. Last year in 2020, it was a milestone year for gender equality. In addition to the 25th anniversary of the Beijing Conference, the year featured a 64th session of the Commission on the Status of Women, Generation Equality Forum in Mexico in May and Paris in July, a high-level meeting of the 75th General Assembly on Gender Equality in September, 20th anniversary of Security Council Resolution 1325 on Women, Peace, and Security in October, the Sustainable Development Goals 5-year milestone, and the 10th anniversary of UN Women. These are things that we are sadly taking ground in. But like you said, a quarter representation is not enough, and that's even in the UN. I mean, I doubt if it's even that as far as in our own Congress. When we make up that population, roughly, you know. We don't just need more representation on the part of women, but other non-men, LGBTQ, the whole 9 yards, because As of yet, we have still not achieved the true equality or representation that we have been fighting for over 100 years. With
Well
that,
said.
I say, let's get out there. Let's start more women, more LGBTQ, the whole 9 yards, because we deserve to be represented. You know, there's an excuse for like our vaginas being inflated, things like that, whether we have access to, you know, our own birth control, whether we have access to equal pay in the workplace, equal labor, equal pay. These are the things we've still yet to achieve, and more. We really need brought to the table, and it's only going to happen with representation.
I just want to say hi, Natalie, because she's in the comments.
Hi,
Yeah,
Natalie.
and I would also
Welcome
like
back.
to welcome back. I would also like to shout out our first Patreon patron.
Oh, what?
Not going to name names,
Hey.
but thank you for your faith. We shall not disappoint.
That is some really good news, Dean. You're taking my job. You heard it here, folks. He's coming for my job. They took my job.
Hey, the rest of us get to hear good stuff too. You just are.
Yeah, I just got the nice even voice with the low timbre.
Mm.
True.
How does the music sound to you guys?
A little loud.
A little loud, yeah. Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Good lo-fi.
We promise, guys, here soon we will have this figured out and it'll be seamless.
Sir.
Trisha will have internet that works.
Oh, I can't wait. Hopefully, a better headset so we don't have such audio difficulties. Like me sounding like Skrillex dropping the bass.
Yeah, for sure. So the next section is mutual aid. I don't know how many of you happen to see the workshop that we put together today, but we're gonna play a little clip of that in just a second here, whenever I can, you know. We're gonna drop the link in the comments as well to the mutual aid organizing workshop from today. And before I play the video, I just want to plug the For We Are Many mutual aid organizing group. And I want to say, get involved in your community. We can make a difference together.
Absolutely. That's why it's called mutual aid, not self-aid.
Right.
Because sometimes we need a friend.
All right, so here's a clip from today. But 5 steps to get started. Ultimately, the first step is find out what you're passionate about. Think about what is going to motivate you. What first motivated you? I mean, was it climate? Was it experience with poverty? I mean, homelessness, food insecurity, water issues, whatever you're interested in. There are ways to help. Think about what your personal skills are. Think about what affects you personally. Think about what you know a lot about. And remember that, you know, art, whether that be, you know, physical art like drawing or painting, video and music are also important. And for that matter, we still need volunteers ourselves. So if you're interested,
We do.
Go to forwearemany.org, contact us there, or go to our Facebook page and message that. We're pretty prompt at responding when we get messages. The second step is to pinpoint your local problems. They look different everywhere we're at. Here, One of the big things I would say is green spaces. That doesn't get talked about a whole lot. There's no shade. I live in Glendale, Arizona. They can, but other local problems can be poverty, water insecurity, food insecurity, housing insecurity, incarceration, police brutality. Find something that you fit into. You're probably going to have to adapt if you're working with other people, obviously, but work with the community. If everybody does a little bit, a lot gets done. And on that note, never take on more than you can actually do, because if you're too burned out to do anything, then you're not going to get anything done. So be mindful of that. Start with small little projects, like an hour a week if that's all you can do. And then build up to more if you can. Step 3 is learn the basics so you can learn the solution. And I'm not saying to spend hours in the library or hours on Google, but do a little bit of research. A lot of people came before we did. Building off of somebody else is a whole lot easier than building from scratch. So just do a little research. The answers may already be known, may already be out there. And when you're going over these things, the questions to ask yourself are kind of like, how did things play out? Was it a success? Was it a failure? Why? What went wrong? What went wrong? That's too many W's. What went right? And what can be done better? So that's the whole idea, is just build off of the people that came before us. There's been people doing these kind of things for decades. They have a whole lot of good ideas and good organization. Step 4 is talk to your community. You can't skip this step. You just can't. Without communication, you're never going to convince people that you have their best interests in mind. Don't be weird. Don't make it political. Don't be like, hi, I'm an anarcho-communist and I'm here to help. Don't do that. Be normal-ish. Don't make it political. Don't tell people what to think. Mao made it very clear that we need to meet people where they are, and the Black Panther Party had so much success because they did that. This is all about education and helping one another. And step 5 is pretty self-explanatory, but it is work with the community to achieve these goals. For example, I am currently, right now, organizing a park cleanup for the park down the road from my house. And, pretty much trying to follow these tips here and getting it done. But, I mean, it seems like there's a pretty good response, and I hadn't even hung up flyers until today.
Yeah, when is that? When is that park cleanup, by the way?
That is Monday, March 22nd, so 2 weeks from today.
Monday, March 22nd for that.
At 11 a.m. at Thunderbird Paseo Park in Glendale, Arizona.
Very nice. Very nice.
Indeed.
Definitely got to make sure we get some pictures and stuff. I don't like showing off the stuff that we do because it's not about showing off, but if we don't get it out there, people will never know.
Right. And I mean, it's not like I'm going to be out there filming everything we're doing. No, fuck that. That's not why we're there. But I am.
Right. I really got to say real quick, Rob, you and Trisha did a fucking amazing job. I just kind of sat in the background and seriously, you guys did amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, 100%.
So for sustainability today, I have a Pinterest thing, actually, is what I'm...
Rob, did you make a vision board? Sorry.
No. Was I supposed to?
No, I was doing that. No, I was trying to make Trisha spit her water out.
They would have got messy because it's actually coffee this time.
Oh.
I can't do it myself, so I am dropping the link to the Pinterest thing in the group chat if somebody wants to drop that in the comments we're talking about upcycling today. So basically that means to reuse discarded objects in such a way as to create a product of higher quality or value than the original. For example, turning trash into something useful. A big focus of mine lately has been growing things out of trash. I mean, there's so many times that I see like bookshelves being thrown away or tables. I mean, obviously.
Is that me or did Rob actually freeze?
Hey, he's frozen.
Okay. Modern seance, everybody. Rob, are you there? Are you with us? Can you hear my voice? Somebody light some candles.
Composting definitely one step. I'm going to be starting with store-bought soil, but I'm planning on supplementing that with compost as much as I am able to.
Outstanding. FYI, we did lose you for about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I think my computer froze for a minute.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're doing a lot in the background, all of us. Yeah, folks, you don't realize how much effort it takes. We have to. Oh, so it's like mining for iridium. And he's frozen again.
I am back.
Are you?
Yeah, that's weird. This is usually
100% solid, right?
that-
Yeah. That's all right, bro. You know, take a minute, and you might want to take a minute and clear some unnecessary windows out. If you can hear us.
Oh, I hear you.
Okay, and clear some windows, and maybe even reboot if you have to.
Yeah, we're a bunch of funny people. We can entertain the crowd while you're gone.
We're still on mutual aid, correct?
Well, we just did sustainability. We don't really need to dive too much into mutual aid. I was just showing that clip right there.
Okay.
All right. So I appear to be out of the woods in terms of my computer freezing, maybe. I am not totally sure what caused that, to be completely honest.
They're listening to us, and you know it.
Did we mention Elon Musk's name this time? Is that it? We broke tradition?
No, and I'm glad that you brought that up because we do have a special contributor level, specifically for Elon. And when you go to our Patreon page, which is simply patreon.com/forwearemany, all one word, you will see it. If you are not Elon Musk, please do not subscribe to that level of contribution.
Unless you're Jeff Bezos.
I haven't gotten to it yet, but I will create one for him too.
I don't know. Elon Musk just lost 27 billion, so I don't know if he can afford much anymore.
Oh no, he lost his third house with his fourth swimming pool in it.
Yeah, basically pocket change for him. Yep. And if you're Jeff Bezos' wife, congratulations on marrying the science teacher I heard you did.
Yeah, proud of you. Took him for most of it.
And then
Half
donated most of it. Yeah.
Proud of you. Doing good things. Trying to
Dean
keep
wants
up
to
with
go into COVID. That's the next segment.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've been looking at the comments and we were having some trouble with sound, guys.
Okay. All right, so as ever, folks, we kind of pull from a lot of different sources for our data. And this is not a propeller head type of segment. We don't really get too deeply into numbers. I'll briefly touch on them here in the end of the segment, but for the most part, we have long awaited the CDC to release some guidelines, which they finally published, which kind of mirror the WHO guidelines that we've seen mostly the thought was driven out of Israel and through the companies that developed the vaccine. But if you are vaccinated, it is okay. You are able to. Well, Rob is no longer with us, so we may not be streaming anymore, guys.
Uh-oh.
Well,
It
we might
still
be.
says live.
Yeah, we might be. Well, we'll just press on as if we are. Um, I'm almost inclined to pause until recording comes back on, or we lose all that content.
This is true. Okay, we can make small talk for the
Yep.
moment.
Bear with
Like
us,
how these
guys.
moments
I
here.
Nat, I see you in the comments. I don't know if you can hear me. If you can, that's awesome. We're not sure what's going on right now, but I
That's
noticed
okay.
that you
I mean,
don't have
we're
any
on
sound.
we're live, which is fine. We are live, which is fine. The my issue is that we don't have our audio recording, so really we should just fill this time, and our live stream audience can enjoy our maybe witty banter or lighthearted conversation or whatever happens to strike our fancy. Rob will come back on and begin recording locally. That's the core to our audio, is Rob's local recording.
We have 8 people watching, and I just wanted to say, how is everyone?
Thank you. Indeed.
We always care about you guys. So
Absolutely. That's why we're here. That's why we're doing this.
And Johnny's there, Garcia's there, Natalie's there.
Johnny can hear us. Natalie can't, and I'm dealing with that in the comments. That's why I keep looking
All right,
away.
fair enough. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. I mean, I'm checking the streams that I published tonight. I see us, I hear us. Yeah, we're off YouTube now, guys.
Figured.
We should be going back on.
It's okay. We'll go back on. Outstanding. We're recording again.
Yeah, I have not had an issue like that on this computer. So that's
okay. That's okay.
I mean, it's a cheap computer. I need to upgrade the RAM specifically, but
Hey, usually it's me cutting out. Like, oh wait, lady tater.
The main thing
Emily
is
thought it was the internet, but it's not. It's the computer itself.
Well, the main thing is getting that local recording going. I didn't really want to proceed into anything significant because of that. That's kind of the heart of our production here. Yes, live stream's awesome and it's good, and it auto archives on the various platforms, but that recorded audio is what's going to keep us alive in future. So, all right, I will go back into COVID news if you guys are ready.
Absolutely.
I thought we were
No.
Are we good on YouTube?
I'd have to stop sharing and check, guys. Let me do that, because I don't know, to be honest with you.
Oh shit, I fucked that up.
So how's the weather up there, Don?
It was balmy 55 today.
Right?
I almost went out in shorts.
Right? It was like 53 here.
53 down there?
Yeah. It was nice. We went to the park.
I went to the beach yesterday and saw exactly how much water's in the Great Lakes, and it's astonishing.
I do want to say you went swimming.
No, no, that water will kill you. And
Polar Bear Club, man.
Too fucking cold.
Right.
And that's an exaggeration. It won't kill you instantly, but still.
All right, guys. Just
sorry about the technical difficulties there.
That's okay. Maybe just a little bit down on the audio volume, but it's perfectly okay to.
We swear this is the first time that's ever happened.
Yeah. So where we were was the CDC has finally issued some guidance and guidelines. If you have been vaccinated, it is okay for you to visit other vaccinated people indoors without masks or physical distancing, which was a question. Key point, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a vaccine and they have a vaccine, it is okay for you to visit indoors with unvaccinated people from a single household without mask or physical distancing. The unvaccinated people are at low risk of you transmitting the disease to them. You may skip quarantine and testing if exposed to someone who has COVID-19 but are asymptomatic, but you should monitor your symptoms for 14 days. Finally, people who are fully vaccinated still need, obviously, to take precautions in many scenarios. Remember, the vaccine is a vaccination, it is not a disinfection. You must wear your mask and keep physical distance around unvaccinated people who are at risk. There is a chance that you are carrying the virus, although at the low risk, it is still a viable risk. Wear a mask and physically distance when visiting unvaccinated people who are from multiple households. So obviously, you don't know where people are coming and going, but these are definitive finally. And actually, I left a link. You will be able to find them in the show notes, which are actually live on the website now. Further recommendations are they recommend that fully vaccinated people continue to take these COVID-19 precautions when in public, when visiting with unvaccinated people from multiple households, or when around unvaccinated people who are at high risk of getting severely ill from COVID-19. So people who are elderly or have multiple comorbidities, obviously wear a mask, well fitted. That's important, right? We talked about double masking in the past. Again, really, it boils down to masking common sense and responsibly, meaning don't just slap your little brother's sock on your mouth and think you're masked. Do your best to do it properly, not for your health and others too. Stay 6 feet away from people you do not live with. So that means people you do not know where they have been, which I'm fairly confident everyone within range of my voice who's hearing my voice now in the future is doing that. Avoid meeting them in large size in-person gatherings, right? Obviously, the more people there, the more chances are that there's virus in the air. Get tested if you have symptoms, follow the guidance that have hopefully been issued by your employer, and hopefully they are supporting you. And then of course the CDC and local health department regulations and requirements regarding travel. Now, where are we? Which is kind of where a lot of folks are kind of waiting to hear. It's not good. It's not terrible, right? But it's not good either. We're on the brink of breaking 3 million total cases. We have lost nearly 540,000 souls to date. And we have administered approximately 95 million vaccination doses, meaning first and second vaccinations, including Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, and maybe even some that are in testing that I'm not aware of. I do want to bring your attention to India. I've been saying this for a while. The Indian first wave was terrifying, and it dwarfed ours, and it came after ours. Their second wave, I think we could see 1 million person a day run rate in that country. There is an upswing. Cases have doubled in the last 2 weeks. Now they're hitting about an 18,000 a day case daily run rate in cases. Like I said, we hit our peak second wave was 300 grand. I think theirs has the potential to be 1 million. And worse, of all of the BRIC nations plus United States and Europe, they are dead last in vaccine distribution right now. Not dead last in the world. That honor, dubious honor, goes to many other countries besides India, but they're doing their best. They have a lot of people. So that is your COVID update.
sobering every time.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
I
fucking astronomical.
I don't envy your section of this, Dean.
Well, like I said, I track this. I've been working on this for a long time. I contribute to tracking projects. I have my own site. I don't share it here because, I just don't think it's appropriate. If it were a For We Are Many project, I would. And, maybe I will roll it into it for We Are Many. And I don't know. But, actually I can launch right into the next segment, which would be fine. If I can bring Zoom back up, I will do that. Which brings us to our major political happenings, which is international political. Oh, yeah, look at there. Rob and I found the exact same stories. Americans who have reached COVID-19. Yeah, Americans who have received the COVID-19 vaccine can gather with vaccinated grandparents or friends without wearing masks or keeping their distance, according to the new guidelines. Those grandparents can visit with and hug family members who are not vaccinated as long as they don't have underlying medical conditions that put them at high risk for COVID-19. But getting the vaccine dose does not mean you should travel or gather in large groups, according to the CDC, which says that vaccinated individuals should stick to the guidance. The CDC says individuals who are fully vaccinated, meaning 2 weeks after they have received the vaccine, the second dose, I noticed that they didn't really specifically address the J&J one shot, and I have 2 members of my household that are finally about to receive that, I think on Thursday. Anyway, meaning 2 weeks after they have received the second dose of the Pfizer or Moderna vaccines or the single dose of Johnson & Johnson can safely gather around friends or family who are also vaccinated indoors without mask or social distancing. They can visit with friends and family from a single household who aren't vaccinated but have a low risk of infection. And I think you guys might be seeing a little black box here. So let me move this. Hopefully you're not. The new guidance also says that vaccinated individuals don't need to quarantine or get tested if they come in contact with someone who's COVID positive, as we discussed before. So the US and South Korea have researched an agreement in principle on a new arrangement for sharing the cost of the American troop presence, which is intended as a bulwark against the threat from North Korea aggression, both countries announced. I'm going to pause. I'll come back to this in a moment. I spent part of my military time was in Korea, although that was many, many, many years ago. And I'm no longer sharing. Sorry.
I did that, Dean.
Oh, okay.
I had a plan. Go ahead. Say what you were saying.
No, I'm on second page of political happenings, by the way. I never saw North Korea as a huge international threat before. I still don't. I think this was a Trump invention, and I'm shocked that the United States and other countries are carrying this ball. I mean, I'm not saying they're good people. I'm not saying that the leadership is good. I'm not saying what's going on in North Korea is good. I don't know. I really don't know, and I don't think they do either. It seems opportunistic to me. It seems like a political masquerading or political kabuki theater to me. So I'm not cool with more of this. Go ahead, Rob.
So Emily's in the comments. She said, I talked to my nurse today, and she said they generally discourage the Johnson & Johnson vaccine for people who are immunocompromised because they use an inactivated cold virus.
That's
the cold
correct.
virus, if it happened to cause an illness, obviously isn't expected to kill, but just a thought for those who are also immunocompromised. Which I hadn't even considered that. That vaccine wasn't created in the same way.
I have, and here's my thinking on that. As far as it relates to the very, very elderly, Uh, my my order of operations is first and foremost. Emily, please weigh in. I know you're listening. First and foremost, get the first available vaccine, regardless of the brand or type. Second, in the case of someone who is profoundly unhealthy, perhaps, yes, that could be a concern. And I've spent many days researching this. I have yet to find a single death, and this may be a very controversial thing for the people in this call or hearing me to hear, but I have found no relation to any vaccination and a death. I found 2 cases of individuals who expired near or around their vaccination, but they cannot link the death to the vaccination. I've seen many, many instances of anaphylactic response, not even shock, mind you, but a significant anaphylactic or allergic response to the vaccine. That is why some healthcare providers have you wait a small amount of time to see if that reaction manifests so they can treat you. It doesn't seem to be an issue as much with the J&J as it does with Pfizer and Moderna, although, they do have a greater protection. They have a greater efficacy. 96, 94, 95 of generally average versus 79, 78 to 85. Really, I'm not going to argue with anybody over 10 or 15 points. Any form of protection to me is of primary concern. I mean, we're not shopping for cars, guys.
Right. So Emily said, I personally am on Remicade, which is a medication that suppresses the immune system. So the common cold could potentially be more severe, and that's the main reason that they said to get the others if possible. Correct. But she definitely agrees to get what you can when you can.
Yeah, correct. And I realize that there are people who have treatment plans there, and those plans and those strategies would definitely benefit from. Bottom line is, you should be talking with your healthcare provider, and you should be making the best decision that's available to you that's based on science, not based on a fucking post from I fucking love science. Sorry, Emily's mom who's listening.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
And I pose both of you with this, Emily and Dean. I'm curious if you know anything about this. I did not get a chance to do any research and see if there was any actual medical findings, but someone told me the other day that there has been a higher risk of blood clotting in some people who have taken the Moderna vaccine, and I don't know what that is related to, if it could be part of that anaphylactic reaction, because you never know if you're reacting to something in that manner, if that could cause coagulation. But I'm wondering if you know anything about that, if you've seen any of the science reflecting that, and if so,
I've seen chatter about that because, yeah, I have seen conversation about that. I haven't read anything in Lancet or anything medical about the correlation between the specific Moderna. I've heard the remarks though, and people who are vulnerable to coagulation disorders or are on anticoagulants. But I've picked up on that too. Near as I can tell, this is experiential. Not that that's not valuable. I think it is valuable, but here we are, guys. This is it, right? We witnessed the fastest deployment of a vaccine in human history. Before that, it was 4 years. And that was considered groundbreaking what they did. And I'm not sure. I mean, check me in the comments and in future but I believe it was mumps. Believe it or not, was the vaccine for mumps took 4 years to develop and deploy from end to end. So what we've done here is unprecedented.
It is indeed.
All right.
So we don't know everything. There's going to be questions. There's going to be things. There's definitely going to be what the fuck moments whereby we look back and go, holy shit, why did we do that? I don't know. Everybody we had our foot to the floor,
Well, I'll just put this one out there then that the person I was speaking with did not find anything there correlating with the Pfizer form.
Yeah,
and
no, I picked
the
that up.
regulation forms. So
Yep.
if you do have a condition that, is causing you to have clotting problems, try to get the Pfizer vaccine instead, because that one hasn't been showing that type of reaction.
All right. Back into where were we in this? We were at the
I'll
U.S.
tell
and
you,
South Korea, right?
I can tell you, yeah, we were just launching into U.S. and South Korea, and I hadn't hit the second bullet yet. When it occurred to me, like, why are they forcing this on us? Why are we being made? It's like, did not Dennis Rodman have this Korean problem under control?
Oh my God.
Oh, he's so convincing when he says, "Oh, you got me."
I mean, I say we just give it back to Dennis. He was doing fine, and we can get back to the business of making the man money.
So Natalie said with rheumatoid arthritis and could not get over the fear that some suppressants used for RA are worse than the disease.
Yeah, for real, they are.
I've heard that. I don't have any firsthand experience with that though. And then Johnny said, not to be a pessimist too much, but a healthcare system designed to make money is not a trustworthy one for me. And I totally agree. And I'd like to just give a shout out to Cuba. They have like 37 fucking 100 doctors in 39 countries distributing the vaccine for free. So
I'm not the least bit surprised, and I had predicted that it would be Cuba that led the world.
Yeah, and I mean, frankly, I think they are. But yeah, so I just wanted to give Cuba that shout out.
Right. Let's reiterate their words. We are Castro.
Solidarity.
Because straight up, yes, that solidarity, they are showing it with their actions and stepping up and helping the rest of the world. And I love it. It's beautiful.
So the State Department's Bureau of Political Military Affairs said Sunday that the deal, we're talking about the cost-sharing deal for troops, the U.S. and South Korea have reached an agreement.
Correct.
The deal includes a negotiated increase in Seoul's share of the cost, but provided no details. Surprise. The Bureau wrote on Twitter that the agreement, if finalized, would reaffirm the U.S.-South Korean Treaty Alliance is the linchpin of peace, security, and prosperity for Northeast Asia. The U.S. keeps about 28,000 troops in South Korea to help deter potential aggression from North Korea, a legacy of the Korean War.
Time out.
Yeah,
Time out.
I'm gonna
just pause and reflect on that for a moment. Yeah, please do.
Can I say something real quick? I have served with a lot of guys that have served in Korea. I didn't personally get to serve in Korea.
I've been there.
You've been there?
Mm-hmm.
The ROK Army is more than capable of steamrolling North Korea. More than capable. We don't need to be there for that. We really don't. And the guys that we deploy as the quick reaction force are coming from across the fucking planet to support, what is it, like 4 battalion or four brigades from the 2nd Infantry Division? Not even, maybe just one brigade.
I don't know how many is there. I was an engineer off the second ID, but
it just blows my mind every time.
Jeez.
Every time
Emily's mom, sorry. 30,000 individuals.
Every time they say that, oh, we need to be over there for the link because we're helping. We're not helping. We're getting put on lockdown because some asshole got drunk off post when he wasn't supposed to. The ROK Army is way better trained for that.
Well, don't forget too, they're usually because service is compulsory. Most of the people in the ROK Army, a lot of the people in the ROK Army are college educated. So these are not societies desperate like it is in our case sometimes. They it's compulsory service. I mean, we don't send, let's be honest, guys. I'm sorry, Don. I'm going to lump you into this category with myself included. We don't send our best and brightest to stand in front of the fucking guns.
No, we don't.
We send those who are willing to risk their lives in exchange for things like,
A possible
enough
road
food
out
to
of
live
poverty.
comfortably,
Correct.
and yeah, the GI Bill, things like that.
People of color
They
overcome
depend,
racism to do it. Women overcome gross sexual misconduct and mistreatment to do it.
right?
So in
For many
2019,
years.
the Allies struck a deal that had South Korea paying $924 million, which was a massive increase from the year before. And I'm just wondering, like, how the New Deal breaks down.
It's less money, guaranteed. It is not. This is a post-Trump. These are post-Trump era right sizings, whereby I made a deal, folks. They're paying their fair share. Is definitely going to be revisited here and in places all over the globe.
Indeed. So I actually got a fucking video for this next bit, but I want to talk about it a little bit first. The Boulder police are using video of a massive party to identify people who attended, saying, quote, there will be arrests. Police. What was that, Trisha?
I got to interrupt you. That's not a fucking party. It's a riot. They're calling it a party because it was a bunch of suburbanite white boys, let's be honest.
I don't know anything about this. What the hell's going on?
Oh, you'll have some video to see in a minute, Dean.
All right.
Don't worry.
Yeah, things got weird in Colorado Saturday night.
Yeah, for real. Police said people at the party threw rocks and bottles at officers and first responders, flipped a car, and caused thousands of dollars of damage to a SWAT vehicle. Police said 500 to 800 people gathered near 10th Street and Pennsylvania Avenue, many not wearing masks. Boulder County is under level yellow restrictions, and personal gatherings of more than 10 people are not allowed. Police tried several tactics. Listen to this. Several tactics beginning in the afternoon to break up the party and disperse the crowd. But when things began to escalate, officers did not go into the crowd to make arrests. According to the chief, Maris Harold, 3 officers suffered minor injuries after people in the crowd threw bottles, rocks, and other objects. Quote, it would not be considered a best practice to send officers into this crowd. It's much better to videotape this type of behavior and make the arrests after. But believe me.
Wait. So was this a chud party or was this a sports ball bullshit or what the fuck happened?
It was a chud party, man. It was a fucking frat party from the sounds of it.
Okay, I gotta say this. I have to say this, and I said it this morning to the group when I sent you guys the links. Why is it every time poor people or any inner city people, when these fucking cops kill somebody, we gather up, we protest, and they instantly move in with fucking tear gas? But when these fucking frat boys at the University of Colorado at Boulder decide, oh, we don't want to follow the lockdown, so they get 800 fucking people and still do the same shit that, the riots in Minneapolis, throwing rocks, flipping cars, same shit, but it's a party, and these are drunken revelers that are acting out of hand. It blows my fucking mind. And like I said earlier today, I think it goes back to Kent State because they don't want to move the fucking National Guard into a college again.
Lord have mercy.
Thank you for joining us.
I think
this
it
massive
speaks to
party
systemic
on
racism.
University Hill in Boulder turned destructive Saturday night. CBS 4
They
obtained
didn't
some
feel
video
compelled.
of the police presence from a
here.
CU Boulder senior. Now, the city of Boulder, Boulder Police, and CU are warning everyone involved. The message: anyone who injured police or damaged property will face aggressive prosecution, and CU students involved face serious sanctions, up to being removed from the university for good. Videos flooded social media showing the wild crowd of several hundred along 10th and Pennsylvania. After dark, some in that crowd overturned a car, shot fireworks, and pelted a fire truck with cups and bottles. Boulder police are reviewing body camera footage, hoping to identify those who damaged property or assaulted officers. Now, 3 officers were injured and are now recovering. One was hit in the face with a blunt object. Luckily, that officer was wearing a gas mask. There was, I should say, thousands of dollars worth of damage to a SWAT vehicle and a fire truck. And these pictures are from the city of Boulder, just into our newsroom. Our Michael Abeda went to Boulder last night, and Michael, you were there for the aftermath.
Yeah, Kathy, I got here right after police broke up that party, if that's what you want to call it, and there was still a huge mess up here. Quite frankly, it's surprising that it's been cleaned up so well. Many of the students that were here last night, they were unrepentant, but even more of them were surprised and a little ashamed.
Saturday night on the hill in Boulder got out of hand. Hundreds of unmasked students partied in the street near 10th and Pennsylvania, tossing garbage, breaking university COVID protocol, and damaging cars parked in the street.
No one's trying to do anything harmful. It's the cops that were trying to harm us.
These students, who swear they weren't at the party, say they saw everything.
It's sad, but you know, when kids are locked up for months, when kids are locked up for months, they act like animals.
But it did matter to these friends.
We kind of saw everything on like Snapchat and Instagram, so we thought we'd just come out here and pick up because we kind of felt bad.
Who say they're disappointed in their peers.
You're acting like you're throwing a fit. You're acting like a child.
And hope they're leading by example by picking up the mess the partiers left behind.
I feel like I'm doing something good, and hopefully this will rub off on someone else.
It also mattered to the university.
So
Bullshit. Bullshit. You know,
yeah,
those poor
Bullshit.
kids have to
Absolutely.
go pick up that mess, and all these, oh man. And these motherfuckers came out and threw shit, acted like assholes. It looks just like plain old European style post-soccer hooliganism to me. It doesn't look like there was any goals.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're
I'm only
just
giving you my
getting them
hot
to
take here
quit.
because I have, sorry, Trish.
It's okay. That was all.
Oh, I'm only giving you my
Very-
hot take because I got no context. I didn't know anything about the story, so usually my first response is wrong. So correct me, please.
There's
So,
no correcting, dude.
no,
It's
it's
simple soccer hooliganism.
yeah, it's obscene, really.
The problem, though, is the difference in police response. If this was a real fucking protest for something that mattered, the cops would be rushing in violently with militarized fucking response. They sure as fuck would not tolerate being pelted with rocks and bottles by anybody out there protesting in the yellow vest movement or protesting with BLM. They would be charging in, shooting, at minimum rubber bullets, if not worse, tear gassing us, the whole fucking 9 yards. So why the fuck is it acceptable to allow these cops to be like, oh, wait, it's white boys throwing rocks at us this time. It's just college kids. Fuck it, we'll catch them later. Really? This highlights a double standard in the way police respond to who it is in the street. Plain and fucking simple.
And just to clarify, them using video evidence to catch the people that started the whole thing or arrest people because of this, that would be a good thing if that's what they did all the time.
Right. But it's not. They only show that favor when it's a bunch of fucking frat boys. They've got all the regard in the world for the lives of frat boys, but if it was anybody out protesting for any legitimate reason to be in the fucking streets, then they sure as fuck wouldn't take that, tactic. They would bust in violently. It's what
They're
they've
the
always
future
done.
power.
We've
They're
got
the
so
future-
much
what do you
video
expect?
evidence over the last few years of them doing just precisely that.
Indeed.
We
So I
can't,
guess
we can't put these boys in jail over rape. I mean, they've got futures.
fuck the legal system in this country. So to leave this country, I guess, we're going into international happenings now. And the first thing's about India. Thousands of Indian women have joined the farmers' protests against the new laws that they've been protesting for fucking ever at this point. Thousands of women have joined protests by farmers on the outskirts of New Delhi to mark International Women's Day, demanding the scrapping of new agricultural laws that open up the country's vast farm sector to private buyers. The demonstrations on Monday were held at multiple sites in the capital's fringes, where tens of thousands of farmers have camped for more than 3 months to protest against the laws, which Prime Minister Modi's government says are necessary to modernize agriculture. More than 20,000 women gathered at the site near Delhi's border, wearing bright yellow scarves representing the color of mustard fields. The women took center stage at one key site, chanting slogans, holding small marches, and making speeches against the laws. I actually have a picture here, so I'm going to go ahead and... I mean, there was several, but that one, I don't know. I like it. Anyway, so they took center stage at one key site, chanting slogans, holding small marches, and making speeches against the laws. This is an important day as it represents women's strength. 37-year-old Veena. That's the whole name. I thought it was gonna be a first name. Anyway, I believe if women are united, then we can achieve our target much quicker. This is a day that will be managed and controlled by women. The speakers will be women. There will be a lot of feminist perspectives brought in and discussions on what these laws mean for women farmers. That was farm activist Kavitha Kuraganti. Hopefully I didn't butcher that. It is one more occasion to showcase and highlight the contribution of women farmers, both in agriculture in India as well as to this movement. Yeah. So about 100 women sat cross-legged in front of a makeshift stage in one of the protest sites on Delhi's border. Many traveled with the thousands of male farmers who arrived at the protest sites in late November and have since organized and led protest marches, run medical camps and massive soup kitchens that feed thousands, and raise demands for gender equality. Holding the flags of farm unions, they listened to female farm leaders speak and chanted slogans against the laws. At least 17 took part in a day-long hunger strike. Women are sitting here, quote, women are sitting here out in the open in protest, but Modi doesn't care. He doesn't care about mothers, sisters, and daughters. He doesn't care about women. That much is clear, said Mandeep Kaur, a female farmer who traveled 1,100 kilometers to participate in the protest. That's about 680 miles. Quote, today we are finding ourselves under attack at all fronts, as women, as peasants, as workers, as youth, and as students, said women's rights activist Sucharita, who uses one name. We are opposed to the laws that have been passed in favor of corporations. Solidarity. Quote, markets that are distant as well as exploitative make single women farmers more vulnerable, and in any case, a patriarchal society has discriminated and made them vulnerable. Multiple rounds of talks between the government and farmers have failed to end the deadlock. The farmers have rejected an offer from the government to put the laws on hold for 18 months, saying they will not settle for anything less than a complete repeal. Solidarity. Anybody have anything to say on that?
Not really. I mean, you kind of said it all, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Yeah, it is. So then on to Myanmar. Protesters are still obviously, defying the curfew. Media outlets have been ordered shut. It's an ugly situation, honestly. Protesters in Myanmar's biggest city came out in mass numbers in defiance of the 8 p.m. curfew, showing support for about 200 students trapped by security forces in a small corner of the neighborhood. Police were believed to be conducting door-to-door searches for those who fled attacks to seek shelter. Wow. Diplomatic missions of the United States, Britain, Canada, and the European Union all issued statements urging the security forces to allow the trapped people to return safely to their homes. The U.S. Embassy stated, "There is heightened tension caused by security forces surrounding Kyung Ta Road in Yangon." I can't pronounce the township. We call on those security forces to withdraw and allow people to go home safely. Kind of bold of America, to be honest, but I mean, they're issuing a statement. They should. I don't know what they should do. Actually, we should keep our troops at home. I'll leave that alone.
Yeah, never fight a land war in Asia.
Yeah. The nighttime hours have become increasingly dangerous in Myanmar. Police and army units routinely range through neighborhoods, shooting randomly to intimidate residents and disrupt their sleep, making targeted arrests. And 2 protesters were shot in the head during anti-coup protests. The military government placed major roadblocks on local media outlets, canceled the licenses of 5 major sources that provide extensive coverage and live footage of protests. They are listed, but I guess I can just share this slide. So the 5 organizations are listed right here. The offices of Myanmar Now were raided by authorities on Monday. They're ahead of us, right? So that would be probably like yesterday to us. Right? No? I don't know. Anyway, the government has detained dozens of journalists since the coup happened. At least 2 journalists are facing up to 3 years in prison. And to date, the government's violent crackdown has left more than 50 protesters dead. It's fucking unacceptable. Fucking unacceptable.
It gets hard for me. Oh.
Go ahead.
It gets hard for me not to go off when we talk about Myanmar. When I see those those armored vehicles in the pictures, I really want to talk about, you know, the types of things the population of Myanmar could do to neutralize those vehicles, but I don't want to get us put on a list.
So I just got back into the comments for a little bit, and I see Osama's comment. Let something happen after this Floyd trial. First of all, Osama, I agree with your statement, but I'm calling it the Chauvin trial. He's on trial. George Floyd didn't get a fucking trial.
Correct.
If this cop goes free, and watch how they react. We know that cop's going to go free. They set up barricades a fucking month before the trial started.
No.
That being said, I do want to probably after this next segment, I'll hop on and see if Unicorn Riot has a stream. There's been protests all damn day in Minneapolis. But first, we have a brand new segment. We've been talking about adding it for a while. The WAP.
Right.
We're not talking about wings and pizza, because apparently Kids Bop did a version of Wet Ass Pussy and called it Wings and Pizza.
Don't fucking say that. What?
Dude, you can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Jesus Christ.
But we know that WAP stands for Well-Armed Proletariat.
Yeah.
Damn right. Welcome.
Say it again.
Well-Armed Proletariat.
Good
So,
thing the thing we shared earlier was liberals ban guns, but socialists hand them out. So.
And why do we do that, Rob?
Because we got to arm the poor. So in an attempt to arm the poor, we're going to be doing this working class firearm of the week. We're going to try our best to always keep it under $1,000. But this is actually probably one of the best bang for your buck rifles you're going to find. It's the Ruger.
That double entendre.
It's the Ruger 1022 carbine. It's a semi-automatic. It holds 10 rounds plus one in the chamber. It's less than $300 brand new. You can usually get it for $150 or $200 used. Ammo is dirt cheap. I mean, the last I knew, 22 long rifle ammo, you could buy literally a bucket of it for, fucking $100.
How much is what is it? It's a 22, you said?
Yeah.
So it's not rim-fire, it's center-fire? So it has a long range?
Rimfire.
So, okay.
Yeah, it's rimfire. But it's a great starter rifle. It's reliable, it's cheap, it's affordable to shoot, especially if you are not extremely familiar with guns and you want something that you can put a lot of rounds through without spending a fortune. This is a great starting point. I do have a link to drop in the the comments. There we go. Sorry, had a brain fart there.
I just have to go on record as saying I would love to disarm everyone, starting with the police, but do carry on.
I understand, Dean. I mean, if the police were disarmed, we would have much less reason to, need them. But
I think if you were going to do that, I would go as far as disarming the entire military across
I agree.
the world. So
yeah, I agree. I have unrealistic ideology. I understand, but I have a lifelong philosophy, and I'm compelled to stay true to it.
Well, I don't think that guns should have ever been really created. I think if anything that we should have stuck with swords and bow and arrows and stuff.
Yeah, you never.
It is a technology that's among us, and we have to contend with it. It is childish for me or anyone to think that we should take measures to eradicate technology of any kind.
Very true. All I'm going to say is you never see a sword fly 300 meters into a schoolyard and kill somebody.
That's correct. And if you see somebody who's running from 300 yards away at a school with a sword, you've got some time to take action.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to kind of jump around this video a bit. They didn't trim it down to any shorter videos. It's just the live streams from earlier, but this is
the unicorn. Okay, good.
Yep. Look at the size of that crowd.
Beautiful.
Unlike the Capitol insurrection, they're all wearing masks.
Yeah.
So they had speakers the whole
With
day.
Minnesota being ground zero of the match that has sparked this outpouring of consciousness for our shared community. We are still here waiting to cash that check that has fallen on a bankrupt system of expedient politicians, administrators, and tolerant allies of the same in opposition to progress for a more perfect union. For far too long, we have been victims of this plague, and we are here to say no more. No more to policies that divide us based on our diversity. No more to policies that break up families of color. No more to hashtags. No more to policies that put all the eggs in the basket of white imperialism while paying lip service to communities of color and our never-ending fight for justice. No more to the boots on our necks of our children, our brothers, our sisters, our uncles, our fathers, our nieces, our nephews, our friends, and our future. The bills we are advancing are ending qualified immunity, police professional liability insurance, the civilian oversight strengthened, ending police-only responses to mental health calls, ending the statute of limitations on wrongful death, creating an independent investigatory and prosecutory body, ending prosecution for reporting police misconduct, access to body cam footage within 48 hours. This is also known as Kobe's Law, ending no-knock warrants. We also support the Hardell-Sherrill Act of 2021 and the Philando-Castile Omnibus Bill. Like the slaveholders of the South in the founding of this young country, the opposition to progress fights for unrighteousness. They argue for division, they promote through their actions or lack thereof a distorted reality that places one class of people over the other and fails to see the humanity and all that is sacred under God. They turn...
Yeah. So, I mean, you saw the crowd. There's at least a couple thousand people there, and they had speakers all day. They held a press conference. I haven't had a chance to watch that and review it. Obviously, we're not going to play the hour-long video on here. I'm seeing a lot going on in the comments. I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it much. Damn. But hello, Osama and Natalie. Anyway, yeah. So they, Unicorn Riot, being they, had a stream going most of the day. The rally and the trial. Well, jury selection and courtroom motions, but whatever. Point is their coverage has been phenomenal. Their coverage was phenomenal over the summer. I mean, shit. Anyway, anybody else have anything to say about the Chauvin trial?
Dude, we said this wasn't going away when the hashtag went away.
Yeah.
I hope that they find him guilty, and I hope he gets thrown in prison for a very long time. So,
indeed. So I want to share an excerpt from a literary work, if you will. It's an excerpt from the address of the Central Committee, to the Communist League, given by Karl Marx and Frederick Engels in London in 1850. Quote, "To be able to forcefully and threateningly to oppose this party, whose betrayal of the workers will begin the very first hour of victory, the workers must be armed and organized. The whole proletariat must be armed at once with muskets, rifles, cannon, and ammunition. And the revival of the old-style citizens' militia directed against the workers must be opposed. Where the formation of this militia cannot be prevented, the workers must try to organize themselves independently as a proletarian guard. With elected leaders and with their own elected general staff, they must try to place themselves not under the orders of the state authority, but of the revolutionary local councils set up by the workers. Where the workers are employed by the state, they must arm and organize themselves into special corps with elected leaders or as a part of the proletarian guard." And I put this part in bold because there's a funny story about it. A couple of years ago, people were trying to say this was a Ronald Reagan quote. Ronald Reagan never said this. This is Karl Marx. "Under no pretext should arms and ammunition be surrendered. Any attempt to disarm the workers must be frustrated by force if necessary." And that, I actually don't know why I stopped screen sharing because that was the end of that segment. Power of a strike. Indeed.
Yeah.
So Osama said the Chauvin trial is going to end bad, and I agree. I don't think they want the heat that's coming if they make the wrong decision, though. I don't think they might not be aware of the heat that's coming if they make the wrong decision, but
There's no way they couldn't be.
yeah, there is arrogance, straight up.
That's fair. That's fair.
Generally, I would agree with you on that, though. I'm not. Yeah. Anyway, so Google. Wow, words. Google workers formed a new labor union, which is a tech industry rarity. A group of Google engineers and other workers announced Monday they have formed a union, creating a rare foothold for the labor movement in the tech industry. About 225 employees at Google and its parent company Alphabet are the first dues-paying members of the Alphabet Workers Union. They represent a fraction of Alphabet's workforce, far short of the threshold needed to get formal recognition as a collective bargaining group in the U.S., but the new union, which will be affiliated with the larger Communication Workers of America, says it will serve as a, quote, structure that ensures Google workers can actively push for real changes at the company. Its members say they want more of a voice, not just on wages, benefits and protections against discrimination and harassment, but also broader ethical questions about how Google pursues its business ventures. The unionization campaign is the latest signal from employees who don't believe the company is living up to its professed ideals as expressed in its original, quote, don't be evil slogan. Google said Monday that it's tried to create a supportive and rewarding workplace, but suggested it won't be negotiating directly with the union. Of course, our employees have protected labor rights that we support, said a statement from Kara Silverstein, the company's director of people operations. Quote, but as we've always done, we'll continue engaging directly with all our employees. Also in this section, actually, does anybody have anything to say about that?
I do have something to say. Welcome, Lord Sterling. I've missed you. How are you, my friend?
What up, man? How do?
Go ahead and introduce yourself, bruh.
My name is Lord Sterling. It's not official, the title yet, but it will be. Am I wrong with someone bumping some lo-fi earlier? Because that was rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys handling that?
Yeah.
Or should I? Okay.
Well, I mean, it's so far when I'm doing it, it's only when I'm screen sharing. But
oh, okay.
Speaking of which, I'm about to be screen sharing. So yeah, lo-fi.
If I was royalty, I would make you Lord Sterling. So.
You know, that means more from you than it does to fucking Queen, I'll tell you
that.
So I just want to say, as you can see by the image on your screen right now, that we stand with the Amazon workers and we are supporting the boycott. It began yesterday. It ends a week from yesterday. Let's hit Bezos where it hurts. His wallet. If he's not going to take care of his employees, let's cut into his profit margins. Anybody want to?
Solidarity. I mean, we need to not buy from them, not try to get on any of their platforms. Can I just say fuck Bezos and solidarity with the workers?
Oh yeah, amen. How do you feel about the Amazon workers unionizing, Sterling?
I think that people should be competing to work at Amazon. I think as successful as the company is, we should be like crawling over each other just for a job there.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, well, I mean, in reality, though, it should be that way. They should pay you well enough to reflect the success that the company's having.
Absolutely.
I mean, there shouldn't be just this base I mean, yeah, base wage and so forth, the minimum wage. But I mean, if you're the most successful company on the fucking planet, that should be reflected in your company's wage and their benefits. I mean, not a single one of them should be on food stamps, but that doesn't compute. Like everybody's like, oh yeah, well, yeah, we agree that's bad. I'm like, well, that's bad enough to break it. You know?
Listen, Jeff Bezos read The Hobbit when he was young, and he really identified with Smaug. He really wanted to be a dragon on top of his pile of money. And who are we to rob him of his 18th mansion or his 48th trip to Venice to, I don't know,
eat lunch and fly back?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
He only makes $152,207 per minute. When and where can we do more for Jeff Bezos? That's just not enough for him. We need to mutual aid the fuck out of Jeff Bezos. The man might not be able to afford toilet paper.
Man, when the time comes to seize the means of production, okay, Amazon has to be the first fucking thing.
Absolutely. How are we going to distribute anything?
Exactly.
They have a fucking monopoly on distribution.
Yeah, pretty much.
That one woman that was doing the testing for people, she died because they didn't have the proper PPE. I mean, the richest company in the United States and can't even afford proper PPE for their people? It's just ridiculous.
Just don't care, man. They just don't care.
I mean, yeah, they can afford it, but he's just a cheap asshole. The company is that it didn't matter to him that people were dying.
No, they're replaceable. Somebody else will take that job.
I really enjoyed the South Park version of Jeff Bezos. I don't know if anybody's ever seen like the picture of the character art for that, but it's hilarious.
It's not, but I'm wondering if we could pull up a clip of that.
Oh man, I don't think we can pull up. I don't think we can pull up a South Park clip, but we might be able to.
We should probably like not press our luck. We got flagged for that Weird Al video and for an Emma Watson speech that somehow Sony Music owns. Fuck Sony Music.
Yeah, for real.
We just gotta keep it under 30 seconds. I'm curious to see their take on Jeff Bezos. I fucking love South Park.
I highly recommend taking a look.
Indeed. All right, well, Don, it looks like we're getting to one of your segments here, bud.
Oh, hey. Yeah, so as you guys have probably noticed, I have a love for science and anthropology and archaeology, and in lieu of giving you guys news about dogs being born with 2 heads and 8 legs as good news, I'm gonna do this. I big fan.
Hey, that puppy was doing pretty good from what I read.
I don't see how that's good news. Honestly, do not see how that dog is going to have a healthy life. But we're not going to talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of broke my heart to see it, but at least it seems to be doing all right from what it's said.
Well,
moving around fine.
I still want to see that thing, though. I'm saying.
I'll send you a link.
All right.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah. We're going to talk about Neanderthals.
Oh, yeah, we are. Man, this I was going to put in the good news section, honestly, because I think it is some good news. Quite amazing news. Study. I'm sorry, I should have read further into this article before I just got excited and shared it with you guys. A study has found that Neanderthals had the capacity to produce human-like speech. Do you know how big that is? You want me to screen share so you can see the article, or do you want me to drop a link?
I mean, why do we got to see the article? Just tell us what's going on.
Okay. All right. Neanderthals evolved the auditory capacities to support a vocal communication as efficient as modern human speech, according to new research led by the Universidad de El Casa scientists. I don't know exactly where that is.
Probably Spain, and it sounds like the University of the House of Science.
Thank you. I don't speak Spanish. I speak German and some Swedish, but Spanish has always been difficult for me. The linguistic capacities in Neanderthals have long been an area of active research and debate among scientists, albeit a little resolution. The last 2 decades have seen an increasing archaeological discoveries documenting complex behaviors in the sister species to Homo sapiens. These have been linked to possible presence of language, since it seems reasonable to suggest that such behaviors require the presence of a complex and efficient oral communication system. And they're talking about the cave paint, everything from the cave paintings to the crafts that Neanderthals made to the way that they moved across vast areas of the continents, settled in areas, conducted trade. You simply can't do that without a way of speaking, a way of communicating.
Right. Including instantiating that WAP.
Yeah. I really hope Cardi B doesn't. Was it Cardi B that did that one? I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it.
It's fun. I think it marked a cultural pivot.
Beautiful. I've seen buddies of mine from the Army like argue about it in the comments because all this Mr. Potato Head, Dr. Seuss bullshit.
Right, Mr. Potato Head. Let's come back to that. I want to talk about that, but go ahead.
Okay. For decades, one of the central questions in human evolutionary studies has been whether the human form of communication, spoken language, was present in any other species of human ancestor, especially in Neanderthals, said Professor Juan Luis. I am not even going to attempt to say his last name because I don't want to ruin it. But Professor Juan is a researcher at the Centro. Oh, God, I really should have sent this to somebody else so I could. That's a lot of Spanish. He's a professor in Madrid at one of the colleges at universities in Madrid. Using high-resolution CT scans, this professor and his colleagues created 3D models of ear structures of Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, and other hominins considered ancestors of the later Neanderthals. They then entered new data into the software-based model developed in the field of auditory bioengineering to estimate the hearing abilities up to 5 kilohertz, which encompasses most of the frequency range of modern human speech sounds. Compared to other hominins, Neanderthals showed slightly better hearing between 4 and 5 kilohertz, resembling modern humans more closely. In addition, the researchers calculated the frequency range of maximum sensitivity, technically known as occupied bandwidth in each species. To sum this up, because I don't want to read this whole article and take up a ton of time, Neanderthals potentially had the capacity for human-like speech, and that is big news.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of cool as far as like epiphany-wise, what that spoke to me. That there's that overlapping period of time where both Homo sapiens and Neanderthals were walking the earth. And as far as today, we find that there is a lot of Neanderthal DNA heavily in those of us who've got some ginger. And it speaks volumes, going back to part of what we were talking about earlier in the mutual aid section, that mutual aid is literally an evolutionary thing. When it came down to the capacity to be able to travel, the innovation that required, whether it be riding horses, building wagons and such to be able to pull your stuff with you, it made it possible for survival as we spread out to other parts of the planet. And to me, that speaks volumes, because obviously some of these Neanderthals had that capacity too, to understand mutual aid and solidarity with each other, with, you know, their family or their tribe or whatever, to be able to migrate that far, for there to be significant amount of Neanderthal DNA all the way up in Scotland and Ireland. It's kind of cool.
I'm pulling up pictures off of Instagram right now for the next part of this. To give you guys a little heads up, a photographer using crap, I really should have looked at what he was using. I know it's a type of Photoshop. Has created digital pictures, lifelike pictures of what ancient Egypt's Queen Nefertiti and Pharaoh Akhenaten looked like real life, as close to what we can figure out that they looked like in real life. And I want to share these with you. Give me just 1 second. These are really cool. These are really cool, and I promise it's worth it. Here is the Pharaoh Akhenaten, whose name was actually erased from Egyptian history. He was the first pharaoh in Egypt to stop the worship of the traditional Egyptian gods. He worshipped one god, which is Aken, the sun, and we know his name by accident. Somebody forgot to scrape something off of. But here he is. And then 1 second. I have to click between tabs and things. I promise I'll get better at this eventually. I'll have like 4 computer screens in front of me and have this all up for you. Now, Queen Nefertiti, super famous Egyptian queen. If you don't know anything about her, I suggest looking her up. Really cool. This is what she looked like. You were looking at the face of somebody who hasn't been seen since 1370 BC right now.
This is absolutely stunning what anthropologists can do. There's ones that specialize in using clay. They make a mold of the actual skull and use clay to form around it and fill in the facial features. And it's a fucking amazingly beautiful process. This is awesome.
Indeed.
Those were the only 2 anthropology and science things that I Thank you for putting this in there, Rob. I actually really enjoyed that. Thank you.
Yeah, dude, this show's for all of us, bro.
Absolutely. Finding some science and anthropology.
So we're moving into probably everybody's favorite section, combating fascism. So the Republican Study Committee urges the party to zero in on border crisis, and they're trying to link it to Biden's, quote, radical policies. Holy shit, man. Can you imagine actually believing this shit?
Antifa super slut.
Say it
uh,
again. Say it again. Just read it again, man. One more time.
Oh, me?
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, Antifa super sluts, I said.
Yeah. Okay.
Like a teddy bear.
I really wanted Rob to say the part that he said again, but it's okay.
Oh, I said, holy shit, man. Imagine.
No, not what they're believing. I needed to hear it again.
Oh, I didn't want to read it again, but I will. I will, just for all of you.
Please.
The Republican Study Committee urges the party to zero in on the border crisis and link it to Biden's, quote, radical policies.
Oh my fucking God.
An influential Republican caucus is urging the party to zero in on the escalating crisis at the southern border and link it directly to President Biden's, quote, radical immigration and border policies he has implemented since being inaugurated. Quote, over the next few months, Americans will watch the crisis on our border worsen. They will see the consequences of the radical left's recklessness in real time. That's from the memo distributed by the Republican Study Committee and obtained by Fox News. Quote, and every one of these consequences can be traced back to Joe Biden because every major change in our immigration policy since Inauguration Day was made unilaterally through the executive branch. The administration has been scrambling to cope with an influx of migrants, particularly unaccompanied children and families at the border. It is opening a number of shelters and processing centers while allowing facilities to expand to 100% capacity. Meanwhile, it is considering using a Virginia military base for potential use as a temporary influx care facility for unaccompanied children at some point in the future. So, I just want to say that Biden is not the radical left. Biden is not a socialist. I am.
Right.
Hold on. Can we talk about the radical changes he's made to the border policy? He just put a new name on the fucking pages.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, in 95% of everything, much as I predicted, he is no different than Trump.
No.
Dude, and he's not going to be because we keep voting for the lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
It's true.
He's a centrist, and in many areas, right of center. So how these motherfuckers are calling him socialist is beyond me, because no socialist would be doing that shit right there.
No, amongst the political world, he is definitely right. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even by American standards, which are drastically skewed right to begin with.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Anyway, so on to the next topic, I guess.
Oh, I got something real quick if we're gonna combating fascism.
Yeah, it's the next story in it.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, you're good. I mean, if you got something to say, man, you can say it.
No, just an article that I wanted to tell people about.
Oh, gotcha. Osama said Biden is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Oh. Fucking amen.
He ain't even in sheep's clothing, though, man. He's just a wolf.
He's a confused wolf.
A fucking hair sniffing wolf.
My grandkids like to play with my leg hair in the pool.
That's normal, man. It's normal. Oh, God. Natalie said, ask any Republican and they will tell Rob. Yeah. Yeah. That's true. I just don't get where they even get this idea, where they even come off like trying to say that Biden is a socialist. Nothing that he has ever talked about pertains to socialism except for how much he hates socialism.
That's because here in America, we hate socialism because communists.
Because
Fake
communism is
bad.
because communism has killed 100 million people in 100 years or whatever. But like, let's just point out that capitalism does that in 5.
Right.
Anyway, so a bill in Kentucky would make it a crime to insult and taunt police officers. Supporters of the bill.
What?
Yeah.
I'll read that one more time for the people in the back, because I know that's some shit, man. Just like the Panthers were communist, Osama said. Well, I mean,
they were, but that's not an insult.
Yeah, right. They kind of were, but they drew heavily from Mao. That's where they got the whole idea of the protracted people's struggle. They distributed Mao's Little Red Book. They were unabashed socialists for sure. But anyway, so I'm going to say this one more time. Kentucky bill would make it a crime to insult or taunt police officers.
Fuck that. That's one of my favorite activities.
So, supporters of the bill say it targets people who, quote, cross the line. But those against it say it's an attempt to crush protests and violates First Amendment rights, and you're goddamn right that it does.
It absolutely fucking does. And who's to say what crosses the motherfucking line?
Well, they are.
Okay. So what's their line? Is there a clear, defined line that I can't cross? Can I not?
No. They make it up as they go, bro.
Correct.
Oh.
Is it straight up fuck the police, or is it damn I smell bacon?
Well, I mean, they don't need a law to govern themselves in that capacity. They already have full authority to do that. That's why I always say we do these things, we hear these things, we get mad about these things, and nothing ever changes. Nothing ever changes. And the reason that nothing ever changes is because we are constantly bombarded with this sort of nonsense on the daily.
I feel that. That's why I have my weekend therapy sessions with Lord Sterling here.
Yep. I mean, I keep waiting for that magic moment, you know.
That's the thing. Like, what the fuck do we need to do to shift things in a different direction when we've got people who lick fucking boots this hard that they're like, oh my God, we have to protect the police from being called a fucking pig. It might hurt their feelings.
The story
fuck
drops
outta
on the day they try the officers that killed George Floyd. They you know.
Oh yeah,
that's intentional as fuck.
And we're just fine with that.
And
I mean, we're not, obviously.
So the wording of the bill, says that it would make it a crime to insult or taunt a police officer during a riot. They can just call any protest a riot. They already do that.
Right.
Unless you're a frat house.
Well, right. Yeah, that wasn't a riot. That was very clearly a party. There was alcohol involved.
Yeah, they were drunken revelers reveling.
Correct.
So wait. That's all we have to do. That's all we have to do to make it not a riot. We just got to get fucking shit faced.
And be white and be male predominantly, and then you're fine.
I can do 2 of those things.
And probably richer, you know.
Yeah,
we just need to like make the propaganda say like this is a block party. Let's not call it a protest. Block party. BYOB. Come on.
Can we call it a celebration of Bacchus?
Who that is?
They'll figure it out.
All right.
Anyway, so Senate Bill 211 mandates up to 3 months imprisonment or for a person if they accost, insult, taunt, or challenge a law enforcement officer, quote, with offensive or derisive words, or by gestures, or by other physical contact that would have a direct tendency to provoke a violent response from the perspective of a reasonable and prudent person.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So they don't
Diploma.
have laws that already do that. They have to they have to come up with another one on the day that that's great.
Wait.
Well,
Holy shit! Holy shit!
our
The
laws
bill
would
defines a
probably
riot.
purely apply to actual assault, but this is talking about your words, man.
Yeah,
This,
and time out. Listen to this. The bill defines a riot as, quote, a public disturbance involving an assemblage of five or more
fucking
persons,
kidding me?
which by violent conduct creates grave danger of damage or injury to property or persons or substantially obstructs law enforcement or other government function. What does that even mean?
Anything they want to fucking interpret it as to use as an excuse. Because let's be honest here and go back to that commentary of where they were trying to describe what they fucking think police are, calling them reasonable individuals.
Reasonable and prudent.
Differ. Right. I beg to fucking differ. The evidence speaks for itself. And the problem is their egos can't handle being quote unquote challenged in any fucking manner. And that's part of the problem is we have ego-driven motherfuckers out there with badges and guns and a fucking pension for bullying who want to use their badge and their gun as an excuse to exhibit fucking violent behavior and to lash out at the very people who pay their motherfucking paychecks and provide for their fucking living and their families in the whole fucking 9 yards. That's coming out of our fucking tax dollars, and we're paying these motherfuckers to beat the shit out of us, tear gas us, and gun us the fuck down. Get the fuck out of here. We do not need dumbasses like whoever's sponsoring this bill and supporting it, fucking making that much worse. Where now they can be like, oh, well, they said this and I felt challenged, so I responded with violence. No, stop fucking giving them excuses.
Well, and there's a very clear class base for this too. Listen to this. A person convicted of this misdemeanor could also face a $250 fine and be disqualified from public assistance benefits for 3 months.
Holy shit.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Fucking kidding me?
The bill also...
I don't get to eat any bacon for the next 3 months. Get the fuck out of here. Gonna fuck with people's ability to survive for insulting our employees?
Yeah. The bill also contains a provision on the Defund the Police movement stating that the government entities that fund police agencies must, quote, maintain and improve their financial support. The bill passed a committee vote on Thursday and moves on to the full Senate.
Leave it to fucking Kentucky, man.
Yeah, dude, no shit. It's, wow.
It's a state level bill or a local?
Yeah. That's a state level bill.
Yeah.
That's fucked. That's fucked all the way around.
Yeah, it fucking blows my mind, bro.
This is what we meant by it's not Trump that's horrible, it's what comes after Trump.
Yeah.
It's what he made feel comfortable fucking expressing itself and trying to impose itself on the lives of others. I don't give a fuck. If you choose to be a cop, guess what? You're choosing to take a position that you're most likely to exploit as a betrayal of your actual fucking community or the one next to you, given so many cops aren't actually living in the neighborhoods they police. They're policing other people they don't give a fuck about. This is just fucked. Absolutely fucked that we have to worry about this type of shit from our own fucking employees. Where are the leftists in Kentucky? Because everybody in your state needs you right now to step forward and be like, fuck this bill. Because this sets a precedent for other, right-wing states to go with. There ain't going to be nowhere fucking safe to even travel through to get somewhere.
Osama says, and I quote, people say the system is broke, but I disagree. It's a well-oiled machine and doing exactly what it was designed to do.
Well fucking said, yeah. All right. So, He also said, Trish, look again at the origins of police. Yeah, that's a great point as well. That's
Yeah.
a
They
fucking...
started as a way to round up slaves and bring them back to the places they escaped, and it's fucked.
Yep. Natalie said there are some bad things hidden in that bill, especially for any third parties trying to get in to break the duopoly. Sorry. Can see Green Party Howie Hawkins on that. I'm somewhat torn because there's plenty of good in the bill, and no one is going to weed out the bad, especially when it can and will be used to both the two parties' advantages. I think that she was replying to something. I'm pretty sure she's talking about HR1. Last week, we actually showed a video of Howie's take on HR1 because he worded it better than any of us could.
Right. So that it's fucking bullshit.
Essentially, yeah. He laid out in like a 6-minute video how and why it was bullshit, because that's what that man does.
Yep. He's a smart man.
On to the next story. The Supreme Court seems ready to uphold restrictive voting laws. That's the headline. But no shit, Sherlock. Trump stacked the court. You fucking kidding me? Right. They may not have handed him the presidency like he probably thought they were going to, but this is completely expected. The U.S. Supreme Court, also known as SCOTUS, or scrotum, sorry.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Seemed ready on Tuesday to up. Yeah, dude, for real. I was like, should I say it? Should I say, yeah, scrotum.
Yes.
Seemed ready to uphold Arizona's restrictive voting laws, setting the stage for what happens in the coming months and years as Republican-dominated state legislatures seek to make voting more difficult. Since the November election and President Trump's false claims that the balloting was rigged, Republican-run state legislatures have raced to pass new laws that would curb the modern-day expansion of the right to vote. Many of these laws likely will be challenged in court, and on Tuesday, the Supreme Court heard arguments in a case that could set the parameters for which those restrictive voting laws survive and which don't. The Voting Rights Act, first passed in 1965, makes it illegal for states to enact laws that result in voting discrimination based on race. 8 years ago, the conservative court, by a 5-4 vote, gutted one of the two major parts of that law. Now it is the other major section that is in the conservative court's crosshairs. Tuesday's case involved two Arizona laws. One bars the counting of provisional ballots cast in the wrong precinct. The other bars the collection of absentee ballots by anyone other than a family member or a caregiver. Wow. That's interesting because we were told as election staff in Maricopa County, which is in Arizona, that this, starting with the 2020 election, provisional ballots could be cast in any precinct. And absentee ballots could be dropped off by anyone. I just got a notification from Facebook pop up. A post from 2012 just got flagged for going against community standards.
Oh, well, I have to worry about that then.
Yeah.
So the post was a meme that said, quote, "We must reduce workers' salaries and take away their right to strike." And that quote was attributed to Hitler, 1933, and then it says, "Sound familiar?"
Well, yeah, it's the Facebook, you have to break omelets to make eggs algorithm at work again. Again, it doesn't understand context. It sees, it's like a whack-a-mole. It sees something pop up. It's designed to smash it with a hammer. It doesn't care what your intent is or what your audience perception is or any of the context.
They do have an option that when you're disputing it, that says, "I think Facebook misunderstood the intent or context of my post."
Right. The bot
so I think they acknowledge that that's a problem. Yeah. But I just disagreed with it.
I've seen whole groups get wiped out with thousands of members because of this behavior. Oh, well,
Yeah,
it's hate speech. We don't care the context and just beat it down.
Yeah.
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 mean-
I think we're on our 4th Lord of the Rings. The beacons are lit posting. Shout out to my boys.
You
Oh
know,
my
and then these
God.
groups are scrambling to go get a community together, and then they warn each other and they try to be good and they try not to say anything that might be naughty, and then somebody does and they get whacked again.
The
And
old anti-fascist group. That's what happened to that. We had over, I believe it was almost 5,000 or a little over 5,000 members, and they just wiped us out. So.
And that being said, that is exactly why we were trying to. You can create user accounts on our website now. We're trying to work more and more out of our website. So just to throw that out there again, that's www.forwearemany.org. Now, before I get back to this, this I don't even want to call it a story. It's bullshit, frankly. But anyway, Osama dropped some knowledge about the 13th Amendment and the origin of policing. It's a very long thing, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I encourage all of you, on the other hand, to go into the comments and read it. So state Republicans and Republican National Committee argued that both laws are needed to prevent fraud, but the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals disagreed. It found no record of ballot fraud, but it did find evidence that the two new laws make voting more difficult for minorities who often live in huge rural areas without a nearby post office or mail route.
And it didn't help that they closed a whole bunch of the voting centers too, that directly affected more minority neighborhoods.
Yep.
Amen to that. So are we ready to move on to LGBTQ news, or does anybody have anything else to throw out before we do?
Let me see if I can't find this again real quick.
Yes, you had an article too.
I forgot about that, actually. Let me, hold on. Watch what I'm about to do. Boom.
There we go. All right, so just a short summary of, because it's combating fascism. Virginia had a flagpole up in a private fenced-in area. It was 120 feet. And I guess they're making them change it because it was a flag of the Confederate flag, and they're making them change it to 60 feet. The flagpole went up after they tore down 2 Confederate statues in Virginia. So they're making them replace it because people could see it from the highway, and it stood for a couple years without anybody saying anything because it was under, it was a, whatever you want to call a zoning law or something. So they're making them make it a 60-foot pole now. I just thought that was, it's on a private property, so I can understand them keeping it. I would not have anything of that such, but I just thought I thought it was interesting, and I thought it went along with the fascism that they're making them make it so it's a 60-foot pole, so you cannot see it from the highway, which I'm sure offended a bunch of people. That's all I wanted to say.
These people driving by ain't got to see that bullshit no more.
Yeah, right.
Amen to that. All right, so we are into LGBTQ news. If I'm honest, some of the stuff that's going on in the LGBTQ community today is just outright disgusting. And before I even get into the things I had intended to talk about, I'm just going to bring out the whole potato head thing. How does that affect your life? It's not like they discontinued Mr. Potato Head. They included a non-binary Potato Head and lumped the whole line under Potato Head instead of Mr. Potato Head. And the outrage from conservatives was outrageous. What are you thinking?
It's ridiculous. the potato head has always been transgender because all you had to do was change one feature and bam, now it's a different gender. So it's been fluid across the whole fucking scale the whole time. It's a potato.
Yeah.
It doesn't have genitals.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I just wanted to bring that up before I actually got into the things I was planning on talking about today.
Okay.
So,
and well, I think it was Austin had started to say something too.
No.
He's like, no.
I heard somebody. Anyway, okay, go ahead.
Elliot Page is standing up against GOP efforts to criminalize trans kids in Alabama. Academy Award nominated actor Elliot Page is speaking out against a bill that would impose a penalty of up to 10 years in prison if a doctor provides appropriate gender-affirming health care to transgender youth. Quote, efforts to criminalize trans kids are deadly, and we need to fight back against Alabama's HB1/SB10. The star of Juno and the Umbrella Academy tweeted, quote, trans kids' lives depend on stopping this bill. Tell Alabama lawmakers to protect trans kids. No on HB1, no on SB10. That's the House bill and the Senate bill. They're calling it the Vulnerable Child Compassion and Protection Act. Wow.
That is such utter bullshit based on their feelings. Fuck their feelings.
That is straight offense.
That is right. That is not fucking compassion or protection to try to tell someone else what they can do with their skin suit. This goes back to something we were talking about before with, other bills that people are trying to pass to block trans teens from just getting the blockers, the puberty blockers. And that's, that should be available to, that is not compassion or protection to deny them that. That's making it that much harder for those kids to be able to get gender affirming surgery in the future if their body is forced to go through puberty.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's get into a little bit about what the bill does. It would make it a felony, punishable by 10 years in prison for a healthcare professional to provide gender-affirming care for a minor. The bill would also make it a felony if teachers and school administrators don't out possibly transgender students to their parents. Wow.
What the fuck?
The state... Yeah. I'll read that again, actually. The bill would also make it a felony if teachers and school administrators don't out possibly transgender students to their parents.
What the fuck makes them think that's any of their goddamn business?
Oh my God.
The state is considering a separate bill to ban transgender youth from school sports.
There was just an article and I read it, and it said that a woman wrestler had beaten all the men and took the championship. I don't know necessarily where. So the whole transgender being able to, I don't. It just makes
somebody.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on now. I mean, it's just a bunch of bullshit.
It's an excuse that they're using. Oh, my kid won't have fair competition if they have to compete against somebody who's trans. No, that's just trans hatred right there. It's bigotry disguised as.
Well, what they're. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. What they're doing, the mental gymnastics that they're doing in their fucking heads is try to follow this if you can. They're taking it to an extreme. They're picturing Brock Lesnar as he is right now with a wig on, beating the shit out of female wrestlers. And that's just simply not what it is. You know what I'm saying? You following what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
Brock
I
Lesnar
absolutely
is
am.
huge guy, and like obviously if
If
Brock,
he were to take estrogen, he would be much smaller. It directly affects all of that. It
Well,
literally
especially
makes
if he
your
had
muscles
gone through, or if he had started the treatment when he was young.
Right. Right. That's the thing that they're not taking into consideration because these people are fucking ignorant to the actual process and don't understand the changes that are made in your body with hormone therapy that you take as part of that. You know, if you're a trans man, you're taking testosterone. It's why trans men grow facial hair, chest hair, the whole 9 yards. Trans women take estrogen. That's why they end up with curvier faces than they had prior to. There's a lot that goes into this that these people are not considering. They just think it's a dude in a dress, and it makes me want to knock them the fuck out.
Amen to that.
They lose muscle mass too once they take it, or gain muscle mass. So I mean,
yeah, I know, but
Precisely.
the way Trisha put it is perfect. They're picturing a dude wearing a dress. They're not picturing
I know,
a
and
woman.
it's ignorance. Yeah, it's the ignorance of on their part, you know, to do that because they probably don't know any trans people or have any inclination of getting to know them.
Exactly.
Well said. So, the text of the bill claims that most minors diagnosed with gender dysphoria will stop being transgender by the time they are adults, which is absolutely unequivocally false. It's
not dysphoria.
Right. The bill says that it's necessary to support natural puberty, even though the effects of puberty hormones on a transgender person's body can lead to increased dysphoria for the rest of their life. The bill's text says that treatments like puberty blockers, even after years of testing and administered by a doctor, somehow constitute dangerous and uncontrolled human medical experimentation that may result in grave and irreversible consequences to their physical and mental health. Man,
I gotta call bullshit from a psychological level because they're trying to spin it as being transgender self, like, oh, this is dysmorphia, as if there is a psychological problem with being trans. Real dysmorphia is the feeling of not belonging in the fucking body we're born in.
Yeah, that's pretty horrifying.
They are literally trying to put an opposite spin on shit for an emotional reaction out of
Intentionally,
people.
correct. That's correct.
If you make people think, oh no, the problem is them thinking they belong in a different skin suit. We need to, not let them have access to the health care that they need and desire. We need to, block them from that and treat them like they just need to get their head right. No, motherfucker. Like, shame on them. Shame on them for having no fucking empathy or understanding for what another human being is saying of like, no, who I am doesn't identify with this skin suit. Especially when, not in all, but in many cases, talking about people who have sex chromosome polysomy, where you're triple X or you're XXY or XYY, and all of those things affect what genitalia you have. Sometimes they have both and don't even know it. I have a friend who had no clue that she had a sex chromosome polysomy until she was trying to get pregnant, and they went for fertility testing and found out, oh, okay, well, here's why. We have to balance your hormones because you have both sets of gonads inside.
So puberty blockers. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
I'll just wrap that up. When you have an understanding doctor who goes, okay, let's help you work with this, that's what matters. And these kids have the same right to that as any adult would. This isn't something that needs to be done.
Yeah. So puberty blockers, like their name suggests, just delay the onset of puberty. That's it. So that transgender youth, their parents, and their doctors can have time to understand their identities and come up with the best path forward. If a trans person stops taking them, then they undergo puberty associated with their sex assigned at birth. One study found that transgender teens who wanted puberty blockers and were able to get them had a significantly reduced risk of suicidal thoughts for the rest of their lives, compared to trans teens who wanted them but didn't get them. Another study found that the treatment improves transgender youth's lives and that almost all trans youth grew up to be transgender adults. Whoa, who would have fucking thought that?
Right, who thinks they know themselves better than some fucking stranger?
Yeah, no shit. This isn't the first time Page has used his platform to advocate for trans equality since he announced his transition last year. That was last year already? Really?
Yep.
I thought that was like a month ago. Huh. No, it definitely has been longer than that. I guess last year was only 3 months ago.
Right.
In January, he tweeted asking the Montana legislature to please HB 113. These bills harm trans youth and hurt all of us. So a similar bill, similar action.
I have one thing to share.
Yeah.
It's okay, Trish, if I make a recommendation about this topic.
Absolutely. Bring it on, bro.
So some of the listeners here, present and future, may find themselves disoriented, confused, in some cases even baffled by the topics that you hear discussed today. So I recommend that you take some time when you, at your first opportunity, and go to YouTube and find ContraPoints and just pick through some of these premises that she lays out about gender and perception of gender and its effect on society. And I think you'll do yourself an amazing world of good. This individual here is probably one of the most thought-provoking people in our society today. And so go to YouTube, search for ContraPoints, and you'll get where you need to be very quickly. If you're already quote unquote woke, you understand these issues. I'd say unless you experience them, you don't truly understand them. But if you have an awareness of these issues, I think you'll find that she'll reinforce your awareness and augment and supplement your awareness.
Hell yeah. I'm going to look. Would you say ContraPoints?
ContraPoints on YouTube.
Well, while we're plugging, Dean, if you want to take that link I dropped in the Zoom chat and throw it in the comments, that'd be awesome.
I did
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
You're awesome, Sterling.
Yep. Awesome.
So the link that we dropped in the this is actually from HB 112 in Montana. If you live in Alabama, right? So I'm gonna encourage you to copy this, right, and then change HB 112 to HB 1, and change Montana to Alabama. But they have a well written out thing, and I encourage you to contact your representatives. Let them know you're fucking pissed. Point blank.
Right.
Yeah.
Threaten their jobs. We voted you in. We can vote you the fuck out if you don't represent us. You better vote no on this. We will hold you accountable for your vote. And remember, next time.
Amen to that. Oh man. So let's see, what do we got? What do we got next?
Gay journalist.
Oh my god. Yeah, go ahead, Trisha. I'm sorry.
It's all good. An An out crime reporter has confirmed what he outlined on social media this weekend. He and a group of friends were egged by assailants driving by in a car. Now police are investigating, and the victims of the immature act believe they were targeted because of their sexuality. Australian Broadcasting Corporation, ABC, journalist Mark Reddy apparently took to Twitter right after the incident, writing that while, quote, walking home with a group of gay guys, a car drives by and the men inside throw cartons of ice at us, end quote. Reddy, a Sydney-based reporter who regularly appears on television and reports on the crime beat himself, added, quote, the male occupants laughing as they sped off, end quote. The attack took place as Reddy and the group were traveling on their way home just the morning after Mardi Gras, which is Sydney's Pride celebration. Reddy said of the attack, wow, if you think some eggs are going to rattle us, think again. Not succeed. I truly hope you find happiness. That is all. End quote. He's got class. I dig it. Still, Reddy did not receive sympathy from other Twitter users, with some quick to compare him to Jussie Smollett, who was accused of making up a homophobic attack 2 years ago, and others trying to assert that the victims being gay was quote coincidence. He replied to one detractor, you have no idea. It was a gay hate crime. We were targeted because of sexuality. End quote. It was, yeah, when shit like that happens and they're driving off laughing, guess what? That's immature ass motherfuckers targeting you. They're probably, experiencing waves of homophobia out of self-loathing because they're in the closet themselves. Just point that insecurity out.
Indeed.
Anybody else got a take on that?
I feel like things like this happen a lot more than we see it in the media. And honestly, that's why I put that in here. I wanted to bring that up. This type of shit happens all the time.
It was standard operating procedure for me growing up. I witnessed this behavior and worse.
Right, a lot of people
I'm
don't
glad
realize,
to say that it's definitely been less than I'm sure it was in your time, Dean, but it shouldn't be happening at all.
Right.
Even when I was a kid, it happened a lot. I'm from a pretty conservative area, and a lot of people made a lot of nasty and rude and fucking asshole choices to people, and people in my own school were afraid to come out because of assholes, so.
Indeed.
There's a lot of that.
I believe, guys, I believe it was around, I want to say, after 9/11 that I heard of the first person of high school age or younger than majority anyway, having come out in a public manner. And that's just my own personal experience. But at the time that I graduated from high school, which was right around the time some of you were born, no offense, I knew of not a single person who was out. Even as adults. I mean, once clear high school and that hellscape. Not a single person under threat of violence for self-preservation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Anybody else have anything to say, or we moving on to big tech?
Bigger the better.
All the tech.
I'm sure that we're gonna get flagged by Facebook for something in this stream, so just want to give the shout out to the big eye in the sky, Zuckerberg.
Thank you, Facebook.
Oh man. Anyway, so big tech is facing pressure from governments, employees, and users Governments from Australia to the U.S. are cracking down on big tech companies. Is that what they call this fucking shit? What? Employees are working to form unions at firms like Google and Amazon, and consumers appear to be more distrustful of the world's biggest platforms than ever before. Too many of them still are, but that's another conversation altogether. The increased level of scrutiny on big tech marks a reckoning of sorts for the industry, one born out of an increasing understanding of the power these companies wield and a shifting cultural mood toward activism and holding the powers that be accountable. Experts say it will result in a seismic shift in the industry and one that is already affecting governments, tech companies, and consumers alike. Quote, there was a golden era when people focused on the enormous good technology could do to connect users to one another and democratize access to information. That's Alexandra Givens, President and CEO at the Center for Democracy and Technology. Now, our quote, now there's increasing recognition that with this great power comes great responsibility. Last summer, something unprecedented happened. The CEOs of Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Google testified before Congress at the same time over concerns they engaged in anti-competitive practices, and they got grilled. I mean, yeah, but nothing ultimately fucking happened.
No, I mean, they're only considering letting big tech companies start their own governments. No, that's really cracking down. Like, when you're allowing shit like that of corporations to form their own government, what the fuck are you thinking? But, we're going to call it cracking down now. We're going to pretend like that's limiting their reach.
So I have a little thing I want to share with you guys.
Before the Senate and answered questions about Facebook's role in our democracy. In my view, this is a very good first step. Clearly, among other things, we have got to put an end to the epidemic of fraudulent political advertising that currently exists. But let us be clear that that is nowhere near enough. Today's hearing must be considered as a beginning, not an end, of the discussion about the dramatic impact that Facebook, technology companies in general, and the internet at large play in our society. This is an unbelievably big issue. It impacts every single one of us. And this is an issue that we have got to deal with because it is clear that public policy has not kept pace with the radical changes of technology that we have seen over the last 20 years. Now, while the internet has been an enormous source for good, I am talking to you right now through Facebook. All of the convenience and the connection that we are now seeing comes with a price. Our privacy has been invaded in a manner that would have been unthinkable even 20 years ago. Companies today, we talk about the government, and that is an issue. What the NSA knows about you. But let's be clear that large corporations today know every aspect of your life. They know where you go, they know what you do, they know about your medical and financial records, they know whom you talk to, they know what you purchase, and they use that information to make billions in profit. This nation needs a serious conversation and a very, very serious discussion about the proper role of these companies. Should Facebook, Google, and Amazon be allowed to control so much of the internet? We're talking about major antitrust issues here. These guys have...
So that's basically what I wanted to get to, is the antitrust implications. I mean, good old Teddy Roosevelt would have busted these bastards up a long time ago.
Yeah, if they were like a steel empire, Teddy Roosevelt would have no concept of the internet. Let's be clear on that. He'd have no fucking clue what to do right now.
Well, I mean, he would probably treat it as any other industry. And that's the thing, is that we've put them on this pedestal somehow.
Yeah, I could do a whole show on this. So I'm just gonna say this. Whatever we try to do is too late for this
Why is it too
industry.
late?
Because you cannot keep ahead of the desire to profit from our use of their systems and platforms that they've created for us. Remember, Google is not a technology company, it's an advertising company. Twitter and Facebook are not far behind.
Yeah, but they know the implications of what they are as well, besides just an advertising company. On the surface, they're an advertising company, but below the surface, they're a tool for molding practically all of mankind right now.
They don't care
They
about
know
that.
that.
That's not their focus. Their
Well, I
focus
mean,
is
there's
to make
studies
money.
from Facebook to depress its users over a period of a few hours just to
That's
see
a
if they
good
could tells me that otherwise. I think they
Well,
know
no.
damn
Yeah,
well
yeah.
what they can do.
No, you're defending yourself, and you don't have to. I have a feeling we're violently agreeing here.
Love
So,
it. That.
The point is, they're in business to make money. Any legislative steps, any corrective measures, or anything that comes from Bernie Sanders and his similar kind are going to be far too late.
Amen to that.
Okay,
That's
I
my
can
point.
that I do violently agree with.
The answer lies with us. If you want to be in a social endeavor with your friends and your family, create your own. Go find Mastodon. Yeah, until
Like
social
the
media,
band?
I'm like I said, I could do a whole show on these topics. Until social media is democratized globally and run in the interest of the people and by the people, the standards are open and agreed upon. We're fair game, and we're going to be vulnerable to whatever they decide to do with us, including Zoom. Everything that we do, this organization, this collective of people, and that everything we put out there is monetized to the teeth. Same with the people who are listening to my voice right now. Everything you did to get here is we are here talking to you because these organizations and entities can profit from it. Bernie is I'm sorry, love the guy. He wonderful. I love him to death. But he's not he's not our savior on this topic. Only we can save ourselves.
I mean, Ed Snowden's been talking about this for a long time, and I will give Bernie credit on being the one guy on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, the only guy. Yeah, the only guy.
But Ed Snowden warned us back in fucking, what was it, 2012, 2013, somewhere in that ballpark?
2012. Say yes. 20. Yep. I would say 20. Yep.
I mean, we've known for almost a decade. Nobody cared when somebody that did the shit for a living spilled the beans on it. Everybody made it sound like he was a fucking terrorist.
That is correct. And we celebrated Julian Assange. Why?
I mean, I have no qualm with either one of them. I think they both did a service to society.
I think Chelsea did, but I don't think that Julian did.
Well, he gave them a platform, but yeah, ultimately you're correct there.
And she was the one that rotted in Leavenworth for how many years?
Yep.
So, yeah, I have a lot to say about this, guys, and I don't want to take us into a protracted discussion. I think that you should look for alternatives on your own to communicate with your friends that are secure and encrypted. You should use browsers whereby you control your browsing experience, and you should be aware that a lot of your emotional urge to endlessly doom scroll on Facebook and other similar things is endorphin driven. It's designed. It's like you've been psychologically manipulated to need that satisfaction. And I would only ask that you don't have to have a dramatic, you know, ex- explosive exodus from Facebook, but be aware of that behavior is intentional.
Well said.
It is indeed. When I started realizing that, I cut back significantly on my use of social media. Where if it's not to do something productive on there or contact somebody who I want to talk with, I I exit Facebook. I won't sit there and just endlessly scroll. It's like no. You look up and the clock says 4 hours later than you last checked, and it's like holy shit, that's not a way to live.
And you don't feel
It
better
has
after you did it, do you? You feel a little worse
right.
even. And I know I realize what I'm saying is what's this guy? I'm on social media and I'm listening to you because of social media, and you're telling me what? Sorry guys, it's true.
Come to our website instead.
Well,
Yeah.
find us on a podcast aggregation platforms wherever you get podcasts too. We'll
We
stay with you while you do
are a
your
little
dishes.
bit. We are a little bit behind actually on uploading stuff. Tonight and tomorrow, I will be uploading not only this stream but also the stream from last Thursday and the mutual aid organizing workshop.
Thank you, Rob.
That's my bad. I dropped the ball.
See, I use these platforms to try to organize, to try to get people together so we can go and we can be out on the streets together, or
We have
can
to. That's
help
where the
each
well of
other.
people is. We have to go to the well. I get that, right?
Yeah.
This is the body of water on the savannah. We've got to go there where the people are. I know.
To help this podcast grow, or to help with mutual aid, But other than that, I mean, I'm not here to, I don't want to say not make friends, but obviously I am, but I'm not here to just dick around.
Stimulate that amygdala and feed that ego, right? And feed that
Yeah.
id. Just that's not necessary. Who cares how many people liked your dog pic? I'm sorry, your
Yeah,
dog's
exactly.
lovely, but don't let Facebook hack your mind.
No, I want to see how many people I can fucking organize and radicalize, and like we can go out and we can fucking
make a fucking difference.
Damn right, exactly. Damn right.
Amen.
I'm sorry, Rob. You can proceed.
Oh, you're good. As you can tell by the words on your screen, were you gonna say something, Sterling?
No.
Oh. Well, it popped up on the screen for some reason. Anyway, as you can see by the words on the screen, wealth inequality is the next segment. This is just a friendly reminder that we are all the 99%. Unless Elon Musk is listening, or Jeff Bezos, or the Walton family.
In which case, there is a Elon Musk tier on our Patreon. Just you. And Jeff Bezos, you fucking gold hoarding dragon, if you so, feel compelled to click that button, I guess you could accept your money too, but probably going to redistribute it to your employees because you're not fucking paying them enough.
You're next, Dragon Man. I'm sorry. Anyway. Oh, God. So, let's see. Sorry. I was experimenting and I figured it out, so I'm happy about it. That's all I'll say. Anyway, the COVID recession brought extreme inequality in 2020. We know that. We saw the largest upward transfer of wealth ever. Both in the stimulus relief and in Trump's tax plan, which went into effect last year. So, they didn't even mention Trump's tax plan in this article. And I wanted to point that out because that is a big part of why this is happening. Anyway, the legacy of 2020 will endure in America's collective memory for many reasons. A deadly pandemic and a vicious presidential election. It also brought the most severe recession in almost a century, which hurtled millions into poverty and joblessness and created burgeoning inequality. That financial pain has been concentrated among certain groups like racial minorities, women, low earners, those without college degrees, and workers in the service economy like restaurant, retail jobs, that require face-to-face contact. These categories often overlap. That's what the press said. I wanted to point out that on the left, we call this intersectionality. To a certain extent, these... What was that?
Absolutely.
Indeed. To a certain extent, these dynamics play out in all downturns, but the coronavirus-fueled economic shock has been singular in the way rich, white Americans rebounded from the depths of the crisis. For many of them, the recession ended months ago. They quickly recovered lost jobs. Their wealth has never been higher, as stocks and home prices soared. Their disproportionate ownership of such assets means other groups shared little in their riches. And I got some more stuff to show you. All right. So this is the percent change in employment rates for all income levels. Notice the low wage workers saw a 19% drop. The middle wage workers saw a 4% drop, but the high wage workers were basically unaffected.
They saw a small increase, but think of how much that is in perspective, though, like in comparison to the wages that were already low for the low wage earners.
Which is also funny because, I mean, they're saying high wages greater than $60,000. Are you kidding me? That's like barely scraping the middle class. What the fuck?
Right. This is sad how much of this money has moved upwards. I mean, just put it in perspective, that 1.2%. If you make $1 million a year, that means your income went up by $120,000. That's somebody's entire year's pay.
Well, no, it's not. It's not income. It's employment rate.
Oh, never mind. My brain mixed that up because of the numbers underneath them with the dollar sign. Okay.
Right. That's how they categorized it. You're good. But this is stock and mutual fund ownership by race, education, and wealth tier. So the top 1%, which probably intersects with the large bar of white and the large bar of college educated, I would guess. Almost all stock and mutual funds are owned by educated white, already wealthy men. The bottom 50% of the wealth percentile own 0.6% of all of the stock in this fucking country. Black people own 1% of the stock in this entire fucking country. The top 1% owns over half of the stock and mutual funds in our economy. It's fucking disgusting.
Yeah, well, money is an abstract, right? It's a made up belief that we use. And it's not based on anything real anymore.
Sure isn't.
And I also want to say, fuck those old white men too.
Agreed.
Amen. Is that going to be in your platform?
Yeah, definitely. I'll run on that shit.
If I ever run,
posters.
if I ever run, I'm going to run on the platform of starting a fist fight in the House.
So speaking of fist fights in government buildings, how about left unity?
Let's do. Shall we?
Yeah, we shall. We sure shall, Dean. So far, the Green Party has allied itself with the Socialist Alternative, the DSA of Salt Lake, the Central Illinois DSA, Colorado Springs DSA, Independent Socialist Group, Workers' Liberty Party, Student Loan Justice Party, the Socialist Party USA, and last but certainly not least, except for it's totally the least on this list, the Legal Marijuana Now Party of Minnesota.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we got to grow this group, or this list of groups. Every
and
USA should be
marijuana.
The Movement for a People's Party should be on there. I mean,
yeah, that's hard pressed.
Oh, I know it is. And we're gonna get backlash for that comment.
I'll tell you right now, I was part of the People's Party. You know, I still am somewhat, and it is definitely hard pressed for them to. They want to take on. They want to do it their way, or it's the highway. So I mean, they can't have, you know, they can't they can't.
Well, you mean their egos won't allow them to.
Yeah, for now, right. But I believe that they will lose that. I'm hoping. So.
Oh yeah, I mean honestly, and I mean no disrespect by saying this, but I think that they're going to suffer a couple humiliating defeats, and then they're going to realize why the Green Party appears to be ineffective. It's not anything that the Green Party does wrong. It's anti-third party laws that are established in almost every state. That's my take on it, anyway. But yeah, anyway.
I missed some of that. I'm sorry. I have an upset child.
Oh, you're good.
They're young, and
yeah. Which
so,
I mean, I hope they never lose the passion that they have. It's just frustrating that they don't seem to want to work with anybody else. They just want to do what they want to do, and that's that.
Yeah, and I think after so long, I'm guaranteeing almost after 2024 that they'll realize that they do have to unite with more left parties. So, you know, but
we
go ahead, Trish.
We collaborate, not competition. It ain't a dick measuring contest. You know, we need to come together so we're a large enough number to make a change.
I'm gonna take a moment here to shamelessly plug Howie Hawkins' ebook. It's widely available on the internet for free. Go to howiehawkins.us. It's called The Case for an Independent Left Party. There's a lot of good shit in there. Just check it out. You'll probably learn something from it. I know I did. So Don, do you know what time it is?
Hold on. I got one thing before we go on to the next. Remember, I wanted to do this because it's the National Women's Day.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. It wasn't put in the presentation, so I forgot you were going to do it. I'm sorry.
It's all right. Let me get to. I just backstep. So hold on just a second. The Green Party, as we were talking about them, has something on their website. It's Green Party National Women's Caucus addresses systemic racism against Black women and girls in the areas of policing, criminal justice, and education. Police brutally criminalization and other types of systemic racism have created an especially lethal combination for Black women and girls who face multiple threats to their lives and health in proportion to the general population. In order to address state violence and racism against Black women and girls, the Green Party National Women's Caucus recommends policy changes in the following areas: policing, criminal justice, and education. So that's all I'm going to read from that. But if you want to read more, you can go to the Green Party's website, which is gp.org.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's my turn now, isn't it?
Yes, it is your turn, dog.
Well, Rob's not there to throw up the good news section, but hello everybody. It's Don, Good News Hughes. First and foremost, the thing I want to say to all the transgender women and girls out there, if you're not out for whatever reason, in case no one has said it to you, I want to say Happy International Women's Day. We're valid.
Fuck yeah. Man,
as far
I
as
gotta
good
take
news,
a moment to point out how much I love and appreciate each one of you and how proud I am to be surrounded by so many men who are feminists. I love it.
well, that's a bad word, Trisha. Don't say that now.
Oh, you truly are. Intersectional feminists at that. You understand that being a person of color or being LGBTQ adds to the issues that we deal with as women, and you get it. And you speak out on it. And I love that. Thank you for being you, both of you.
You know
Well,
what you know what really bugs me though is that like I hesitated. I've debated saying that for a good 10 minutes before it was time for me to go on, because of the backlash that I know somebody in the comments in the future is going to say something, and I want you to know right now I'm not going to read it. I don't care.
Be all right.
Quite simply.
I will put them in their place.
That's fine. That's what you do, Trisha. That's why we love you.
Yeah, you guys go ahead and get rowdy in the comments, but we got Trish up in here. She's going to be there and present to beat the shit out of your ass.
Knock you down a little bit.
And if she gets stuck, she just comes back on a different account. Just
Yes,
don't.
that's correct. If she gets her axe blades embedded into your skull, she will just simply put her boot on her face and yank it out.
I love it. You guys are getting great visuals here.
As far as good news goes, everything I was going to put in the good news section got put in the science and anthropology section. And I don't want to cheat you guys with stories about dogs or kittens or no, I want to bring you like advancements in science that are good and are going to be good for us. I just don't have it yet. But the good news is, as of right now, the time is 10:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're listening to this, if you hear my voice, you have not achieved room temperature. You are still exchanging carbon for oxygen. And that's pretty good news, man. You still got time to make a change. That's all I got.
The weather's changing, and it's getting nicer.
Yeah, but that could be possibly like that's
hold on,
climate change.
let me finish though. The climate is changing. Well, of course, the climate's changing, but the weather's getting nicer, and we're gonna get more people with boots on the streets, and we're gonna protest some more. And I urge you to get a hold of people and fight for an issue that you believe in, whether it's LGBTQ or if it's, fighting racism, fighting fascists. Do it. You
can do all the above at once.
Yeah, right. Yes, exactly.
We're gonna say unicorn riot, and you're there.
And if you're in a certain state, go with 4 people, and not 5. Go for 4.
Oh my God.
So,
Just spread them all. Just spread them all out.
I want to take a moment to plug the general strike, March 15th.
I was going to mention that. Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah. Thank you for reminding me.
I actually do have a piece of good news here, though, that Don apparently didn't want to read. GOP Senator Roy Blunt announces he will not run for re-election.
Yay.
I didn't realize we were actually going to put that in here, man. Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah, that's excellent news.
So Emily brought up a good question. When daylight savings time happens, are the streams going to stay? Like, what are we doing? Because, I mean, the event page, I usually base it off of my time, but your time is changing and my time is not.
Well, that
So
blows.
let's keep it with the constant then.
Well,
Base
yeah,
it
but
off
do
your
we-
time.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
your
that's fine
time's
with me.
staying constant.
Fair. So,
Or we could base it off of Greenwich Mean Time.
oh, God.
What we need to do is not have the damn time changes in the United States.
I agree. Only the government thinks that you can take a foot off the bottom of a blanket and sew it on the top and have a longer blanket.
Right.
Well, that's not even it. Who's still using lamp oil? I don't know if that cut out, but I said that's not even it. Who's still using lamp oil?
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
That's good. So I don't know. Maybe we can take a poll. What do you guys think? Let us know in our Facebook group before the time change.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. So, and we're here, we serve at your pleasure, frankly. So your opinion means a whole lot to us.
I said that I wasn't going to share.
I'm sorry. I was just going to say, if we keep it on my time, then it'll be another hour later for you guys. So that's something to think about.
All I was going to say is I wasn't going to share anything about like cats or dogs or anything like that. But behold Salem.
No.
Oh.
So I think, I mean, obviously you guys still like let us know what you think in the comments. But I do think that we should probably do it based on Eastern time, which would make it an hour earlier for me. But I think it would make the most sense for everybody everywhere else in the country.
Probably because we typically do between 3 and 4 hour sessions. So, do we want to cut off between 11 and midnight here or between midnight and 1 a.m.? I think we'll be able to keep more viewers on if we're, cutting it off between 11 and midnight, not pushing it to 1.
Agreed.
But you guys let us know, and we'll go with it. 'Cause
Yeah. I'll stay
we're
up later.
flexible, right? Like, what's your schedule look like? We want to make sure you guys can join us.
So I just want to throw out there that I really like seeing the back and forth in the comments between Osama and Natalie. That shows that we're networking.
Called community building, Rob.
What?
It's called community building, Rob.
Yes, it is.
Mutual aid.
Mutual aid.
Solidarity.
They're right.
So, anyway, Roy Blunt of Missouri, a member of GOP leadership, announced Monday that he will not run for re-election, the latest Republican senator to announce he's not running next year. After 14 general election victories, 3 to county office, 7 to the U.S. House, and 4 statewide elections, I won't be a candidate for re-election to the United States Senate next year, Blunt announced in a video message. The unexpected announcement marks the latest decision not to seek re-election by a pragmatic GOP senator willing to reach across the aisle in the post-Trump era as the Republican Party grapples with its future. GOP Senators Rob Portman of Ohio, Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, Richard Shelby of Alabama, and Richard Burr of North Carolina have all indicated that they do not intend to run for re-election. So far, no Senate Democrats up for re-election in 2022 have announced plans to retire. Well, there's probably quite a few that should, but that's another story altogether.
Right. It's good to hear about Pat, though. I'm glad. Pennsylvania, so.
Natalie said I'm Central Time and Eastern Standard is okay so far. Whatever is good for most. And yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Ultimately. But
The only thing I worry about with these Republican senators not going up for re-election is that, people that are diehard Trump fans might run and might get elected.
Well, I
So,
mean, that's gonna be the major concern for a few years,
yeah,
maybe longer.
and that's why on the left we need to build an independent party. We need to step out of the duopoly. We need to quit trying to work with fascists.
yeah. I mean, they use Trump as an excuse, and whatever. But they cannot use that any longer. So we need to break away. No more Democrats. We already know that thousands of Republicans have left that party. So, we need to make it, tens of thousands, if not more, Democrats need to leave that party. So,
yeah. I mean, they're talking about the fate of the GOP, but like the DNC is not exactly in great shape right now either.
not with Biden in there.
Hell no.
And his, I thought, did he give us $15 an hour like he said he would?
Biden? No. Well, I mean, the Senate parliamentarian didn't allow it.
Oh, are there elected officials?
The damn Democrats did everything that they could. No.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. No, they didn't. They served capitalist interests like they typically
Damn right
do.
they did. Because that's who they work for, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I guess we've about come to the end.
And the beats were fire tonight.
Yeah, dude, I figured out how to share sound, and I'm super stoked about it.
That sounds good.
But yeah, so we've gotten pretty close to the end here. Basically, we're coming into closing statements. Does anybody have any recommended reading or anything?
Common Sense by Thomas Paine.
Man, I can't remember specific names of the works, but read his later stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty much an anarchist without the title, in the reality of it. But let's also remember that he was not involved with the Constitution. He was involved with the Declaration of Independence, which was a much more revolutionary document than the Constitution was.
Well, how can a bunch of old, rich white people back in the day really know how we should run our government today?
Isn't that interesting? Today,
because clearly they were somehow God.
Lord, I don't have a whole lot of patience for constitutional fetishism, but it's okay. It's your journey.
So, obviously, coming into the closing statements, I'm going to point out again, our Patreon is live. Thank you to our one patron. I don't know your name, but thank you, comrade.
Thank you.
Any size donation helps. With your support, we can grow this into a way bigger thing than it is now. That is, once again, www.patreon.com/4wearemany. And, shit, that's not right. Let me stop the screen share real quick. That wasn't the slide as I was expecting.
You're doing so good, man.
So, there we go. Found it. All right. As you can see by this list, we are all over social media. We have our Facebook page. We have the For We Are Many support group. We have the For We Are Many mutual aid organizing group. We have Twitter @For We Are Many 2, Instagram @For We Are Many Podcast, TikTok @For We Are Many Podcast. We're also on YouTube. We're For We Are Many on there. And www.forwearemany.org. You can create an account. You can comment on the stories directly on the site. Hopefully we can start relying on Facebook a little bit less. But yeah, I mean, actually, Dean, while we're talking about that, is there a way to set up like comments on the site during the live stream? Like we could just host it there instead of hosting it on Facebook?
Yes, sir. That is absolutely an option that's available as we speak.
Okay, so what do you think next Monday, or even Thursday, I guess, we experiment with that? Instead of following the Facebook feed, well, we can try to monitor both, but instead of monitoring the Facebook feed, we can try to get some people over to the website.
If you would permit me just for a moment to share, I will. Gonna cut your audio off though, sorry. Maybe not though. Maybe not.
You're good. I'll see. Hold on, let's see. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, no, it'll kill the sound. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I can still hear it.
If I could beatbox, I'd throw him some down.
So as you can see, we are at forwearemany.org, and this is the post of the current live stream. And next week I will do a very similar post, right? And the comments are open. You do have to log in, which means you have to create an account, but you can come in and leave your comments to live forever. And that's all I had to share.
Indeed. But yeah, I feel like we're probably going to have to monitor both for a while. But I feel like it'll be a good thing to start getting people on the website. And we have a couple articles up there. I know some of you have already shared them and stuff, but we have a couple articles up there. We have more on the way. I think Trisha's working on one. I know Emily's working on one. I'm going to have another one coming eventually, but I'm really busy again this week, so we'll see how
Me
that
too.
goes.
So that's a great segue, Rob. And if you don't mind, I would open the invitation to anyone who's hearing my voice, present and future, to reach out to us as we would be happy to have you as an author, as a content contributor, as a creator of any kind, art or word. So.
And when he says of any kind, that can mean poetry, that can mean a book, that can mean a how-to video. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you're trying to do. We got you.
Yep.
Artwork, music, long-form articles, a talking head on this show. Particularly if you want to get involved with what we're doing, and preferably you're not another white male. But, you know.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of us here.
I am a ginger.
Listen, there's 5 of us right now. There's enough to start a riot in Kentucky.
Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful what you say. And by the way, gingers, I mean, obviously we welcome even non-humans.
Oh shit. That was a sick burn, Dean. Sick burn.
I hope you brought burn hail.
I'm leaving now. That's it.
Oh, Austin, come back.
You can blame it all on me.
No, blame it all on
Dean.
Oh God.
I have a soul, I swear. I just lost it.
You lost it in the system that we're trying to upturn.
Yeah.
That's funny that I forgot that I put that live stream will start momentarily thing on there. For all of you that are watching, the live stream is not about to start.
No, it's about to end.
It's
Strap
about
in,
to
people.
end.
This is your intermission, and we'll begin our next 4 hours of live streaming in just a moment. We all need our bathroom breaks and maybe a little protein.
You could put these beats on there for 4 hours and just let people chill with those.
Oh man.
Which is funny because I think this is a live stream, so we'd be live streaming a live stream.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Oh,
Anyway.
We enjoy our time with you. Thank you.
yeah, what Dean said.
Absolutely.
Everybody have a wonderful night.